Robotgoat, try not to say all right at the start of a stream challenge. Whoa! How's it going, everybody? Hey, Agnostic. Quick as ever. Hello, impolite questions. Yes, you are the first. Hey, Nova. Also really quick. Oh my goodness. Hello, hello. Great. How's it going? I know it's been a little while. Thank you for the heart me. I was hanging out over on Mezzo's stream, so maybe you saw me on ass. But then I got sleepy. So I didn't do my own stream afterwards. Because I put up laundry, and then I was like, ooh, that's a lot of effort. I need to rest my little head. And so I did. If they convert me, do they get a prize? Yeah, they get a big old thumbs up. Terrible prize. Hey, how's it going?
Good, thank you. How's your day been?
It's been alright. Can I get your name, age, and pronouns?
Yeah, so I'm Bling, 32, and he, him.
Alright. Are you a Christian, Bling?
Yes, I am, yeah.
Well, why should I be a Christian?
Why do you want to be a Christian?
I'm not saying I want to. I'm asking why should I?
Oh, so you don't want to be a Christian?
Not necessarily, but you could probably convince me if you had good enough reason.
Oh, I see. Okay, so why should you be a Christian? Christianity, and there's a couple of things that's happening. You know, when people are born, maybe they're usually born into Christianity and their parents teach them about Christianity, right? But as they grow up and stuff, maybe they abandon the faith, they leave it, and then as they grow up, they come back to Christianity. Something weird happens where they become a Christian again and they start to really practice out their faith. We got to ask ourselves, what is this thing that happens that makes them want to go back to the faith? And usually what you find is that Christianity is usually the answer we find at the end of a journey where we have been trying to entertain everything else. You know, so I've been trying to look for validation from people. I've been trying narcotics. I've been trying the party lifestyle. I've been trying all of these things, and I find that none of these things fulfill me. You know, so I go back to Christianity to try and find that fulfillment that all the other things couldn't provide me. So I think that's why.
So sheer desperation is your answer as to why I should be a Christian?
Yeah, it's like, 100%. So it's like you partying and you going out and you doing all of these things, gambling, womanizing. You know what I mean?
Well,
so
maybe
that's
a little
why
bit of that. Oh, yeah.
Womanizing.
I can do that.
No, fair point.
Maybe from time to time.
But you get what I'm saying, right? You know what? I think we all looking for fulfillment. We're all looking for meaning. We're all looking for something that is going to give us that sense of inner peace. And we look for it in all of the wrong places, some would say, you know, and we find that these places we're trying to find, it only leaves us emptier. That's why a lot of people go back to Christianity and they find the fulfillment. Sorry, what was that?
I'm good. I don't.
So you don't think that you are missing any of those things, correct?
Correct.
Yeah, so then obviously Christianity is not for you. Christianity is only for people who are at the end of the rope and they need something that is going to give their lives meaning.
So it's not about the truth of the belief, it's about whether or not it gives you perceived meaning to your life.
No. It's the meaning part of it is the start of that. We get to discover the truth the deeper we go, you know?
Right. Yeah, so
So you do get my point, though, Robot, right? You know, it is a
Oh, it's
case
a
of.
terrible point. I hear it. Through all the munching, yes.
Oh,
So
sorry about
my
that.
thing is, you're saying Christianity just finds people when they're at their most desperate and vulnerable. That's not really a good thing. That just makes it sound like Christianity is preying on the weak. Which
Oh,
if it were true, that's not something that you would have to do.
okay. So let me put it this way. Let's say I'm a human being. You know, you're a human being. I'm a human being. Human beings engage in all kinds of frivolous things that they think gives them their life excitement, you know, joy and pleasure. You know, some people like gambling, some people like doing this, and some people like doing that, right? At the end of these pursuits, we consume and consume and consume, and we find that we are still emptier than what we were to begin with. So then we realize, hang on a second, maybe it's not these things that I'm engaging in that's going to give my life meaning. Maybe it's something that is greater than what I am. So we turn to the major belief systems of the world. That's the reason why people believe in God, because it gives them a sense of inner peace, right? And then we can start speaking about why, you know, it is true and what makes this one true and
Well,
what that
do
one
you think
false, you
it's
know?
true?
Do I think that Christianity is true?
Yeah.
I think that Christianity is truth itself.
That's such a strange answer. Do you think Christianity is true?
Well, we have to ask ourselves, what do you mean by true?
Does it comport with reality?
Yes, it comports with reality.
Okay. So if that's the case, why do you have to wait until people are vulnerable for them to find Christianity? Shouldn't they just find Christianity if they're just seeking the truth in general? Why do they have to be this vulnerable and lost of all meaning state? Like, why is that a necessary part of it?
Yeah, I don't think that people need to be lost to find Christianity. I find that people are more receptive to hearing from God when they're at their lowest point. Unfortunately, that's the way that it is.
Well,
When you're
yeah,
flying
because that's
high,
when it's
when you're
easiest to
flying high
prey
and you're
on
rocking and
people,
rolling in a
Bling.
Western society, then a lot of the times you're not going to have any need for God. But when you really need something greater to believe in, that's when you're going to find God. For some weird reason, that's the way it goes.
Yeah, that's predatory.
What
That's
do you mean it's
we'll
predatory?
wait until they're at their weakest and then we'll strike by offering them religion. That's really strange. You shouldn't have to wait for people to be vulnerable and downtrodden
Wait, who's
to
offering you religion? Who's offering you religion?
what?
You said we'll wait for them to be at their lowest and then we're going to offer them religion. Who's offering them religion?
Well, you are.
I'm not offering anybody religion.
You're
I'm not
literally
trying to
up
make
here offering
anybody
a religion.
I'm not trying to make anybody become a Christian. That's not what I'm trying to do. All
Then
I'm saying is that there
why
is a
are you
phenomena
here?
because I'm trying to explain why people believe in Christianity and why they accept it to be true. Isn't that what your prompt is?
Yeah, I do believe that a lot of people accept Christianity because they are preyed upon when they are very vulnerable. I agree with that. No, the prompt is why should I be Christian?
What
And
do
if
you mean by preyed upon when they are vulnerable? What do you mean they preyed upon? What about someone trying to find meaning in their lives, looking in all the wrong places, and then finally finding it in Christianity? That's not being preyed upon.
well, it is because you're telling them something untrue to try to
No,
give
no,
them a
no.
sense
The
of
whole thing
purpose.
about Christianity is simple. And life in general, though, from a Christian perspective, it's simple. Either I can do it my way or I can do it God's way. Now, I have tried my way, and my way has failed, and my way has left me empty, and my way has left me depressed. And
Are
now
you
I'm trying
are
it
you a
God's way,
preacher?
right?
You have the cadence of a preacher. Are you a preacher?
Oh, I'm preaching to you, my sister. God is not done with you yet.
You hate answering questions directly. Are you a preacher?
No, I'm not a preacher. I might be evangelizing.
Because you have that very same cadence that they use from the pulpit when they're really trying to stir emotions. For
What's
me, it
wrong with
just
it?
stirs disgust. Yeah. So this idea that it's either your way or God's way, that makes it try to seem like atheists believe themselves to be God, which is just not the case. They don't believe in a God. So I don't believe that a God exists. I have no reason to try to do things God's way.
Okay, do you believe that you have the ability to create your own reality? And create your own morality?
Reality? No. Morality, yes.
So you can create your own morality?
Yes, subjective morality.
Okay, so let's say that you and I are both atheists, right? And you've got a
you
sense
and I are
of...
both atheists.
Okay, so you have got a sense of morality, and I've got a sense of morality, but we differ. Which one of us are right?
We would have to present our evidence, demonstrate why we think our morality is the most reasonable.
So we're going to demonstrate our evidence towards each other or to an audience?
It depends on the situation. If it's just something that happens between us, then we would share it with each other. If it's something that impacts a larger body of people, then we would present it to that larger body of people for them to make the decision.
Okay, so let's say it was between you and I, and you've remained unconvinced, and I've remained unconvinced. Is there a way for us to determine what is true in that instance?
That would be situational, and I don't think there's objectively like the best outcome.
So
it would all be subjective.
Okay, so you're saying that morality is subjective?
Yeah, I've not been convinced of an objective morality.
Okay, so is that an objective statement that you just made now, or a subjective statement?
Well, I said I've not been convinced of objective morality.
So when you say morality subjective, is that an objective statement or is it a subjective statement?
Subjective.
So then why should I care? If I come and say it's objective, then what's...
You would have to demonstrate that objective morality exists.
Why should I?
Because otherwise I have no reason to believe in it.
Well, then don't believe in it, right?
Okay, you're the
I mean, I believe that it's objective.
Like,
I believe that it's objective.
Okay,
then
demonstrate how it's objective.
Well, demonstrate how it's not objective.
Well, I just demonstrated subjective morality, how subjective morality exists. You recognize that subjective morality does exist. So can you show me that objective morality exists?
Okay, so you're saying that morality as a concept is fluid and we can get to define it however we see fit. That's
not
what
subjective means.
So then what is subjective morality according to you?
Subjective means mind dependent. I think absence of any mind, there would be no morality.
Okay, so we have different minds who perceive reality in different ways, correct?
Okay. That doesn't mean
and
that
if we land on different conclusions
fluid.
About reality, then which one of us is correct?
I don't think that there is one that might be objectively correct about our opinions.
So then morality is fluid, right?
No,
which would ultimately mean that it's meaningless.
And morality, and you've yet to demonstrate that there is objective morality. You can try to poke holes in subjective morality and why you don't like it, but until you demonstrate that there is objective morality is the only thing we've got. So you would have to demonstrate to me that there is objective morality for me to believe anything other than subjective morality.
Yeah, I think that the evidence for objective morality is within our observation of the human experience in and of itself. You know, nobody looks at an old lady getting pushed and say, hang on a second, I'm just going to turn a blind eye to that. There's something intrinsic. There's something intrinsic in each and every one of us who feel compelled to want to intervene when we see a woman getting, mistreated by a man. You know what I mean? That's not subjective. That is an objective statement and fact of reality. Yes.
No, if it is a reaction we have in our minds, it is mind dependent, therefore it is subjective. For there to be objective morality, it doesn't matter if it differs or not. Objective means independent of any mind or stance. So if you're saying we have a feeling or we have this idea of certain aspects of morality, that is always going to be subjective.
Exactly, but this is where the problem comes.
Exactly.
Robot.
That's completely against what you've been saying the whole time, Blake.
This is where we're having the problem because we're having two different conversations, right? Your starting point is that there is no God, right? And there is no mind behind the formation of the universe.
Does that change the definition of objective?
My starting point is that there is. And if there is, then there is an objective standard for morality because he intended it to be that way. Anything that is a reflection of the mind of God is an objective standard. Now, you can't get to tell me that, but God isn't real, though.
Well,
I'm saying God is real.
That's definitionally wrong because you said it comes from the mind of God. Objective again means mind independent. So if it comes from the mind of God, it is not mind independent. If it comes from the mind of God, it is still subjective.
Oh, so you're saying that the mind of God, who is the ultimate perceiver, is in some way the same as you and my interpretation of reality.
No, I'm saying
God
the
is the
definition of
ultimate perceiver,
objective.
and therefore he has an objective viewpoint of reality in and of itself.
No,
yes,
that's not how that works.
That's what we mean by God. Otherwise,
the
he's going to just be a human
mind
being,
of
right?
God is still subjective.
No.
It doesn't matter how
If God
dependable
has-
you think it is.
no,
You
if
had your
God
turn.
has-
The mind of God would still be subjective because it comes from a mind. Coming from a mind is the definition of subjective.
Sorry, not if that mind is an all perceiver of things.
doesn't
He is
matter.
the complete perceiver of things. Yes, it does. Because here's what I'm saying, right? If I created let's say I created a watch, and I know the inner
No.
workings of that watch. No, hang on. I know the inner workings of that watch.
Does God have a mind? You're gonna have to unmute yourself.
Does God have a mind? Where do you think our minds come from?
Answer the question.
Where do you think our minds come from?
Answer
Minds
the
come from
question.
mind, right? Minds come from minds,
Answer
right?
the question.
Minds come from
It's a
minds.
yes
and
or no.
God has a
Answer
mind.
yes or-
Absolutely.
God has a mind.
Absolutely.
I want direct answers to my questions. I don't want this ring around bullshit, okay? So, does God have a mind? Yes. Is God an object?
No, God is not an object. What do you mean by object?
Is God a subject?
What do you mean object? What do you mean by object?
Well, you already answered, so clearly you know. Is
No.
he
What do you
a
mean by-
Is God a subject?
What do you mean by object and what do you mean by subject?
An entity, a being with a mind?
Are you saying is God a spiritual being?
No. It's nothing about spirituality.
No. But God is a spiritual being.
But what I'm
He's not
asking
a
is not
subject.
relating to spiritual.
And he's
not
not
a
an
subject.
object.
Well, he's one or the other. You can't be neither.
No, he's not an object and he's not a subject.
You
He
can't
is
be
a
neither,
spiritual
Blaine.
being. He's a
Okay,
spiritual being.
That would still be a subject. You cannot be neither.
How can something that is spiritual be a subject?
If it has a mind? I mean, I don't believe in anything spiritual, but it still would be a subject by definition.
Okay, are you a subject?
Yes.
How so?
Because I am an agent, an entity with a mind and a will.
So how does that make you a subject?
That's the definition, I fear.
The definition of a subject is one with a mind and a will. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah.
So that would make you a subject.
Yeah.
Okay. No, I don't know. I'm just wrapping my head around these concepts here.
Yeah. If
God
you could take
is-
bigger
God-
bites, that would be
God-
nice.
Yeah, God within a Christian or religious framework would be a spiritual being. That's how we would define God.
Okay, if he's a being, he would still be a subject.
But subject to who?
That doesn't mean you're subject to someone.
No. A subject is somebody that is. You have the ability to be a subject only through the eyes of someone, right?
No.
You are classified as a subject. Okay, can you be a subject by your own with no other minds?
Yes.
Really? No
Yeah.
other minds to perceive your subjectivity.
Yeah, because I perceive myself, so I would be a subject still.
Yeah, but then how would you know if you're a brain in a vat or not?
We currently don't know that. That's just solipsism.
So are you a solipsist?
What?
Are you a solipsist?
No, that's not how that. Am I? Like, I believe that there is no reality? What?
No. I'm saying, are you a solipsist? Do you believe that there is no way for us to actually demonstrate, that we are not brains in a vat?
Well, there is no way for us to demonstrate that because whatever we're perceiving could be wrong, but that doesn't mean you're I don't think that defines you as a solipsist, but I don't really want to pivot to that because again we were talking about whether or not God, if morality comes from a mind, is it objective or subjective? If it comes from a mind, it is by definition subjective. So morality coming from God. No,
unless
no,
the mind
there's
that
no
it is
unless.
coming from is an all perceiver of everything, right?
No.
Of all of reality. And this is what we call God. This is what we call God. God is the perceiver of all things.
That
and
has
therefore,
no bearing.
you know, we are not we are a reflection of God's mind. We are not necessarily you know what I mean? He's not just an independent mind somewhere like you and I.
You're special pleading. That is not, it's not subjective means like of a mind, unless that mind is perfect. That's not a caveat in there.
Who said anything about the mind being perfect? The mind just needs to be the all perceiver of everything, right?
Which would mean like you said that.
Okay, what do you think? What do you think we mean when we say God? Okay. What's your definition of God?
Bling, stop. When you get caught in a corner, you can't just pivot to asking me to define every single word.
I'm not being caught in a corner. You simply do not understand the terms because you want to revert back to the fact that, oh, but God ain't real though, right?
I didn't say God wasn't... Okay, I have not once reverted back to God ain't real. I've never once reverted back to that.
You imply it, robot.
I imply it. Oh.
Yes, you do.
So it's not that I turn to God isn't real, it's that I imply it.
Yes, you do. Of course. We can get it in your undertone.
God isn't real. Oh, my undertone. Oh, I'm so sorry. I'll try to change my undertone for you.
Please do.
Sure thing. So, what do you want to talk about next?
What do you mean by God?
I'm not playing this fucking semantic game, Bling. Defend.
So you don't have a definition for God?
Of course I have a fucking definition for God, but you're doing that thing where you're cornered, and so you're just going to ask me to define every single fucking term.
What's your definition for God?
Bling, I'm not going to let you just ask every single fucking term.
It sounds like you're
running. You didn't know what
subjective
meant. You didn't know what objective meant. You didn't know what subject meant.
I didn't
Now you're trying to pretend you don't know what God meant?
I didn't know what you meant in the terms of subjective and objective. Are you speaking about it in our sense, human to human, or are we speaking about God? Which is a completely different story, right?
No, it's not.
Of course it does.
No, and you just didn't know what they meant. So you're trying to pretend that
okay, so let me put it this way, right? You in a relationship with someone for 10 years. After 10 years, would you say that you know that person?
What is this pivot? Stop fucking pivoting away to ridiculous shit.
No. I'm not pivoting to ridiculous things. I'm asking you a simple question.
You are. It has nothing to do with what we were talking about. We're talking about whether or not
subjective
because or objective. We were talking about whether subjective and objective have different meanings when applied to God.
We're speaking about knowledge.
And now you're pivoting to, so if you're in a relationship with someone, do you know them?
We're speaking about knowledge. We're speaking about knowing things.
Oh, that's so fucking vague.
This is what I'm trying to get you to. I'm trying to get you to.
If we're just speaking about knowledge in general, what's your favorite fun fact about the Amazon rainforest? Stay on fucking track here. Hello.
Yeah, so hang on. How do you know anything to be true?
Oh my God! Stop pivoting.
No. Here you go. You keep saying pivoting every time I try and corner you on something.
That is a pivot because you're trying to go back to solipsism.
How do you know anything to be true? So then, how can you expect for me to demonstrate that God is true if you can't even know anything to be true?
So we demonstrate things to the best of our knowledge, like the best of our ability, the way
and
that
then
we can
perceive still
things.
Not know,
because we literally cannot solve the problem of solipsism. It is impossible to solve the problem of solipsism. If we live our entire lives just saying like, oh, well, I can't determine that anything is real, doesn't matter. That's going to be like an incoherent way to live. So we live based off of the data that we can receive, our sensory data. We trust that it is accurate. We have reason to believe that it is accurate. I'd say we have justified reason to believe it is accurate. But you can't just keep bringing up solipsism as some like catch-all for when you can't figure out how to defend your beliefs.
Okay, so anytime that you are trying to make sense of anything in reality, you are using which tool to determine that you are that your conclusions about reality are accurate? Which tool are you using?
Which tool?
Yeah, which tool do you use when you are trying to determine the truth about anything in reality?
The big fat tool between my legs.
Hey, listen, I think we're done here. Thanks for having me, Robot. This was very interesting. 172 views. Thanks for that. It was good.
No, it wasn't.
Have a
Have a
good
night.
day. Have a good day.
Whew. That was obnoxious. Well, welcome in, everybody. That was our first guest of the night. So, what a way to start out. Made you want to bite your thumb off? Don't do that. Don't bite your thumb off. Yeah, he didn't hit me with the I'm gonna pray for you thing, at least. It's strange. Thanks for the advice, Russell. It's definitely a good idea to listen to you for what to say in a debate. How are we doing this evening? I had a pretty busy day at work. Mondays usually are. So it is good to be here. Believe it or not, this is a way for me to unwind from my day. You think I should name the goat Pink Phillip? Well, the goat is purple, but otherwise I like it. Repost and share? That's right, I should be fucking plugging my own stream, shouldn't I? Yeah, do those things. Tap the screen and share. His name is Nurple. Oh no, I don't know about that. Peg goat. Okay. Okay, I'm getting some more. I know the goat doesn't have a name yet. I'm working on it. But this is the topic that I decided to do for tonight. Call-in lines are open on the link tree, so if you want, you can click this link right above me here, and you can talk to my lovely call screener, which is tonight is Crovis. Big shout out to Crovis for being my call screener tonight. This will be another entry into our monthly raffle. So far, Crovis is killing it on that front. Has a lot of entries already, and month's barely started. So if you do want to become a call screener, you can also check this link right up above. It will show you our interest form. Basically, just talk to people before they come in, make sure they're gonna behave like a human being. That's the main thing. And each time you do it, you can enter it into a raffle for me to crochet you something. I'm making a strawberry hat for last month's winner right now. Well, not like right, you know what I mean. So feel free to call up at the link tree, or you can call in on TikTok. Oh no, the callers on TikTok don't have to go through the same screening process, unfortunately. There's not a way to do that yet. I would love if there was, but right now TikTok doesn't have a way to properly vet, so I just keep the disconnect button right under my fingy. Trying to keep it safe that way. TikTok's live studio leaves a lot to be desired. But we'll work on that. Yeah, that conversation is interesting because, I don't know, he just completely failed to defend his beliefs. He just kept trying to do that thing that a lot of Christians do, where they'll just like obfuscate and be like, well, I have this problem with subjective morality. It's like, okay, present me evidence that there is objective morality. And I've yet to have someone who was able to do that. So someone over on YouTube says that carbon dating was debunked years ago. No, that is not true. Carbon dating has not been debunked. It is very accurate when used correctly. And carbon dating is also very prevalently used in industry, particularly fossil fuel industry. If it were debunked, it would not be something that industry depends on. Ooh, almost dropped the cap to my water bottle. Good evening, stranded castles. To my Europeans, does this weird you out? I didn't know that it was a thing that they're attached in Europe. For the longest time. No clue. So it seems that we don't have many Christians lining up to try to convert me tonight. Interesting. You envy my lack of care? Well, thank you. You too can be just like me if you stop giving a fuck. I see we have Beard of Empathy in here. If you guys haven't already checked it out, go to Beard of Empathy's channel on YouTube. I did an interview. It does get pretty vulnerable. There's some very sensitive topics about mental health, about my personal deconstruction journey. So mind those topics if that is sensitive content for you. Oh, thanks, Dalton. I appreciate the raid. But go check out Beard of Empathy and see the interview that I did over there because I had a great time. It was a ton of fun, and you guys should go watch it. Oh, his name is Duncan. I'm sorry. Dunton. It's Dalton plus Duncan. Or Dalkin? No, it sounds like Dawkins. So I'm going to go with Dunton. Very sweet of Dunton to send people over here. America runs on Duncan. I don't know your god. Well, request up and introduce me. Instead of spamming my chat. Not gonna convince me that way. I can tell you that. Everybody's giving very interesting alternatives over here. We've got Dolphin, we've got Dayton, we've got Dexterity, we've got Deacon. Why a purple goat? Because he held his breath too long. Devlin. Good one, good one. Someone's denying evolution over on YouTube. You should definitely call in. We can have a little conversation about that. Woo woo. But yeah, welcome in, Raiders. If you're new here and it just so happens you've never heard of me before, maybe hit the follow button or something. Like, maybe you should, like, follow my account. Maybe you should do that. Because I go live, like, 4 or 5 times a week, and then I bother my friends on other live streams. And it's a great, fun, happy time. Thank you, Sassy Sapphic Swords, for the follow. Incredibly illiterate username there. I said illiterate, like alliteration, not illiterate. I feel like that came out sounding a little bit wrong. Every culture on Earth knows there was a flood except you. If they all died in the flood, how are there all these different flood stories from all around the world? Ah, you found me through my clips. Wonderful. Russell, it feels like you're on a speed run to figure out how quickly I'll mute you on my live. And it's getting faster every time. Hi, Theo. Thank you for signing your comment and asking me, what about God don't I believe? I don't believe he exists. Don't believe in God. But I love that you put Theo at the end, so I knew it was you. Appreciate that. The Shroud of Turin is proof of resurrection? Now, based on your channel name, I'm gonna assume that's a troll, but ooh, that is weak. Oh, Leif, thank you. Good. Now I know that you're here. How are there seashells on the tops of mountains? Because that's how mountains form. So if this is a seafloor, and there's a plate boundary, that's where my fingers are meeting, there's going to be seashells on this seafloor, and when this plate boundary is pushed together, it's going to move up like that, and what do you know it? Suddenly, there's shells at the top of a mountain. So it's plate tectonics, not a flood. The Shart of Turden? Incredible. I've heard Shroud of Tourism. Oh, Peg is here. Good. Who told me that I should be a Christian? A lot of Christians. Oh, of course, Shadow. God put the seashells there just to test our faith. The Sham of WoW. Ugh, I can't believe the ShamWow guy attempted to be a politician. Crazy, isn't it? When two tectonic plates love each other very much. That's the... Yeah, and no, it wasn't just the MyPillow guy. The ShamWow guy as well. He tried to be a politician. He tried to be an anti-woke politician pretty recently, like this year, I think. Or maybe it was last year. It all runs together. I don't even know anymore. What decade is it? Whenever I see something referred to as like the 2010s, I take some psychic damage. I really do. Cause look, I get that it's like, okay, don't call yourself old, but there are times where I'm like, oh my god, so much of my life has already passed. Fuzztooth in a super chat to say, I cloak thee in the shout of turducken. Bird inside a bird. That's how I know it's gonna be great. Babe, divorce. Don't you ever remind me what year it is. Ever. No, fuzz tooth, not fuzz tits. Could be both, but we only have confirmed the teeth. Imagine believing the seasons and cycles are random? I don't think they're random. Who drew the robot goat? It was drawn by my friend art.bees over on TikTok. I think it's lovely. And I wanted to make sure that my channel art was made by a human. So here we are. And I colored it in myself. So they made the outline and then I decided to fill it with the colors, just flat color based off of my theme. Rat Soup denied my divorce request. Damn it. I'll get it someday. When he's not looking. I'm lucky you do have my permission to mute that person as much as you want. Rebuke his rebuke? Well, yeah, I deny your denial. Denial denied. It's a fun little game that we have. So we say divorce to each other because that way we know we're not serious. So once we actually get married, we're gonna have to start saying like I'm breaking up with you, because the whole point is that it's obvious that we don't really mean it. So we're gonna have to change it up eventually. Denial rebuked? Fuck! Well, I rebuke your rebuke. Rebuke doesn't sound like a word anymore now. What have I done? Damn it. Just a reminder, if you're a Christian, you should be trying to call in one way or another. You've got some souls you can save up here. But so far it's been very, very quiet. Oh, too late, you already pre-buked. Oh no! Always be ready for the pre-buke. If I pray hard, Jesus will come inside me. Oh, I try. I try. Oh, that's a good question. Do I have to buke first to then rebuke? Like, what's the process? How many steps? I love that we got rebuke hockey on both streams at almost the exact same time. Incredible. You guys are definitely my my audience. What about unbuking? Ooh. How many prefixes can we apply to buke? You gotta debuke the prebuke before you rebuke. This sounds like a Beastie Boys song somehow. Pseudo-buke. Quasi-buke? Rebukery. Okay, adding in a suffix too. Interesting. Well, Michael, if you want to be all, like, condescending, you are welcome to call in. It's in the description. We can have a conversation. Anti-buke. Ooh, the bukes of hazard. Incredible. Petrabuke. Ooh. Forebuke. Postbuke. How many bukes we got? Who up posting their buke? The entire chat over on TikTok is just different versions of something buke, and that's a beautiful thing. It's beautiful. It's a beautiful moment. Bukey McBukeface, that's a good one. Maybe that's a contender for the goat's name. Just name the goat Buke. I can't name the goat Buke. Buke your own horn. Name it Bukey. Fuzz2 sends another super chat to say pre-buke before you post-buke. That's true. Holy Bukety. Very good, very good. Bukalicious. Bukalicious definition. I mean, I can do a poll if you want to name the goat Buke, but I don't know if I want to name the goat Buke. Good joke. I think so too. Bukulator. Oh, I'm so sorry to yawn on you guys. I'm so bad at holding back yawns. I don't have to name it that, love. Don't tell me what I don't have to do, asshole. Botfamet, that is cute. Whoa, guys, do you see that Rastoop's trying to fight me? Oh. That is scary. Hello?
Hi! How are you?
I'm doing okay. Can I get your name, age, and pronouns?
Yeah, I was fucking around. 21.
Sorry, the abrupt voice change startled me. You're welcome to re-request, but I'm a little... It's time for the Bukulator, says Fuzztooth in a super chat.
The voice change freaked you out a little bit?
A little bit.
Yeah, my bad.
Yeah, can I get your name, age, and pronouns?
Yeah, Eli's my name, age 21, pronouns he, him.
Great. You a Christian?
Yeah, I'm a Christian.
Why should I be a Christian?
Well, I would say, obviously, if you want to be a Christian, I feel like you should definitely read the Bible and try to understand it. If you can't, find a way to understand it. And that's the evidence you need, because that will guide you to peace in life.
My thing is I want to believe things that are true, and I'm not convinced that it's true.
Well, I mean, I used to think it's not true. It's just a matter of understanding. I feel like I thought that way when I didn't read the Bible. I don't know if you've read it or not, though. I'm
I
not going to
have.
sit here and say that you have. Okay. You have read it. Do you understand it?
Yeah, and that's why I stopped being Christian in the first place.
Okay. Can I ask you a question to see if you can, verify that you understand the Bible?
Sure.
Okay. It's just going to be like a simple question. So God actually did something during the Battle of Jericho that's a little questionable among Christians. They kind of struggle with knowing why he did it. And he basically commanded people to be unalived. Do you know why he did that?
There's a lot of times that God commands people to be unalived.
Oh, absolutely, yeah. Do you know
I
why?
I forget the specific circumstances of the Battle of Jericho. I remember that he had them walk around the city day
Mhm.
after day until finally the walls fell. Um, I forget why in particular that was questionable because there's so many genocides that God orders. It's kind of hard to tell them apart. So which one was this particular genocide about?
So basically, these people were unaliving, graping. They had no religion teaching. They were basically like the natives before the Europeans came here. That's the best way I could explain how these people were acting.
Oh, don't say that.
What? I was
That's
just giving a comparison.
yeah, no, terrible comparison. Don't say that.
Okay.
It's just like
Um,
super uninformed and racist.
Racist?
Yeah.
We're all native people in native land?
You're implying that they like deserved or needed to be colonized. That's just really shitty.
I wouldn't say anyone deserves it, but I mean, it happened. It's part of our history.
Right, yeah, but it's an ugly part of our history that we shouldn't look back on like, oh, well, it's a good thing we did that to those guys, you know?
Well, it was how America was birthed.
That doesn't
You
make
wouldn't
it
be
a
here right
good
now if it
thing.
wasn't for those people.
Yeah, that doesn't make it a good thing because you could also say that about slavery, but we would obviously both condemn slavery, right?
We condemn slavery.
Yes, obviously both of us condemn slavery, right, Eli?
Well, yeah, obviously.
Okay, just making sure. Um, so we can condemn things that contributed to well, I wouldn't say necessarily founding on the part of slavery, but definitely the success of the country because a lot of the country was built on the back of slave labor. So if we can say that slavery is bad, then let's maybe not say that like colonization was a good thing.
Well, I'm not going to really speak on that, but we don't have to use that as an example. I mean,
Okay.
that's another debate if you want to talk about it later. But
Yeah.
so yeah, they were basically set to unalive those people because they were too manipulated by the sin of Satan to where they weren't real people. They didn't really have a life. Basically as animals.
Mm, great. So that's some dehumanization going on there.
Yeah.
How many people were the babies graping?
The thing about the children, those children were raised by their parents, correct?
No, because they were slaughtered before they could be.
Well, they had parents though, correct?
As everyone does, yes.
Yeah, so those people birthed them, correct?
Typically, how parentage works, yes.
Yeah. So those people who were born from sin, what does that make the child of
Aren't
two
we all
sinful
born from
parents?
sin?
Not this type of sin. No, this was pure non-human sin. This was Satanism right here.
But all sins are equal in the eyes of God. So if one is sinful, one is sinful. There's not different degrees of sinfulness.
Yeah, but basically
So
what
everyone is
happens,
born of sin. Does that mean that we all deserve to get slaughtered by the sword?
no, what happens today is we have free will, so we're able to learn about God and
So we
follow
didn't
God if
have
we
free
want
will
to.
back then?
We had free will, but
Okay,
those
so
people
it
didn't.
doesn't make a difference. They didn't have free will, so they were forced
No.
to be evil.
Yeah, you could say that by
Okay,
Satan.
so they didn't have a choice to be evil, so they were punished for something over which they had no choice.
That's what Satan did. You don't see someone named Moses come around here with a big staff and put it in the sea and it spreads apart. That doesn't
Yeah, it's just
happen anymore.
you're trying to tell me that your God is a good guy, but he punishes people for things they have no control over?
Well, if those people were still here, I don't think you and I would be here. They probably would have took over the world.
But you're acting like there's a dichotomy, like the only options are okay, either he wiped them all out, or we wouldn't be here. If God is all powerful, there's an infinite number of possibilities.
He's
There's an
also all
infinite number
knowing.
of ways he could have handled this. So he could have given them free will, but also taken away their desire to engage in sinful behavior. He could have slaughtered all of those who took part in the sin, but spared those who were innocent and let them be raised by the Israelites to become righteous in the ways of God. He could have had a purple cow descend from the heavens and moo at them until they change their ways. Like, he is all
They weren't
powerful.
able to learn that though. That's the thing, is they were basically, you could say, genetically cursed. I'm not talking about their skin color. I'm talking about how they were born.
Right, but that is like eugenics rhetoric that you're using right now.
What do you mean?
Like suggesting that genetically some people are cursed.
Not today, obviously, but back then that happened, yeah. A lot of things happened back then that do not happen now.
We seem to be suggesting it about, like, indigenous tribes in the Americas as well.
No, I think that's a little pushy, but...
Well, you said you directly compared these people to indigenous peoples.
Yeah, the Native Americans, before we got here, they were very violent.
Yeah, so do you see
Yeah.
why it's like, hey, maybe it's not a great thing to compare them?
It has nothing to do with skin color, it's just how people are, you know?
It just seems like you're kind of setting up for, like, you say they were very, very violent. That's not even necessarily true. It's just
Well,
like
that's...
harmful, dehumanizing rhetoric, which is something that you seem to be very comfortable using, and I'm not a huge fan of that.
Well, that's debatable.
That I'm not a huge fan of it? No, that's not debatable. I think you're a piece
No,
of shit for the
like,
things you've said so far.
if Native Americans are not worthy to do what they did.
Not worthy to do what they did.
Yeah.
Sorry?
You don't know what the Native Americans did before we got there? I'm sure you don't care.
What you said? You say they're not worthy to do things? How does
They're
that
not
mean?
worthy to do what they did. No one is worthy to do what they did. It's completely unacceptable.
Okay. You're not making any sense.
So when you do something that's very, very bad, you're not supposed to do that, especially rape and murder. Does that make sense?
Yeah, so it was bad when we raped and murdered the indigenous tribes. I agree.
Nobody should do that. Wouldn't you agree?
Yeah, nobody should do that, so we shouldn't have done that to the indigenous tribes.
Well, yeah, there were violent people in that military of, Europeans, obviously.
So why are you... So why, when I say it was wrong to rape and murder them, do you say, well, they were violent? Why is that your immediate response?
Wait, sorry, say that again?
Like, you say... Like, I say, hey, we shouldn't have raped and murdered indigenous tribes, and you said, well, they were violent. Instead of just saying, yeah, we shouldn't have done that, you said, well, they were violent. So it seems like you're justifying these things happening to them because you falsely perceive that they were a violent people group, because you're just, like, spreading racist bullshit lies.
Yeah, it has nothing to do with that. It's just like, I feel like they
It's
deserve
nothing
to
to do
have
with the
their
racist
land taken
bullshit
away.
lies you're spreading?
No, nothing I said is racist. It has nothing to do with skin color. Do you know what race is?
I know you're doing
Do you know
a
what
race
race
to the
and
bottom
culture
right
is?
now.
You know culture and race, right? You know the separation.
Yeah, I understand.
Okay. So if I have a problem with someone's culture, is that racist?
It depends on your reasons.
Aside from skin color, obviously.
Yeah, it's just, yeah, I'm not really comfortable platforming a racist, so. If the only people you talk good about are white colonizers, you're racist. Sorry. Thank you for the hand heart. Yeah, no, that guy was a piece of shit. And we have a caller. Oh, they disappeared. Never mind. We had another caller. It looks like they left. We didn't find out who we voted for, as if we had to ask.
Hey, I might only have a minute or two, but I thought
I'm
I'd call
assuming you
in
want to
quickly.
clear the air on all the bullshit he was saying.
A little bit, yeah. Like first, like let's talk about Columbus sailed in 1492, right? The Spanish
The ocean
Inquisition.
blue.
Yeah, the Spanish Inquisition didn't even begin until 6 years later. If you want to talk about violence between Christian culture versus Native American culture, and I want to clarify in the comments, it said that they weren't a particularly violent culture. That's to say that there was no violence or no warfare among Native American groups, but they were much more unified pre-contact than we give them credit for. A lot of the later perceptions and writings about like encounters with Native Americans, such as during most of the colonial era, happen when after the Native Americans have been ravaged by disease. So it's essentially a post-apocalyptic, in some ways, society that most European settlers are encountering. They are encountering the survivors of horrible, horrible things happening. So everything about European perceptions of Native American culture has been colored from the start by the impacts of European society, even before they could measure it or know about it. So I just feel like that's important to talk about when we're talking about like interactions and comparisons between European and Native American culture. Anyway, like I said, I think I do have to go, but I love you a lot, and I just want to say that real quick. Thank you
You're
for all the gifts, guys. I really
undivorced.
appreciate you guys. Aw, undivorced? Yay!
W. Mr. Soup. Eat soup. Hey, VOR, aren't we descendants of Europeans that live in America? Does that mean that we can't criticize things that our ancestors did? Hello? We can't recognize things that are bad in our ancestors' past? If you'd like to call in, VOR, we can talk, but I am going to ask you to like cite sources for things. So. Ah, our caller is back. Hey there, you able to hear me?
Yep, I can hear you.
Great. And what's your name?
It's Josian. Josean.
Josian. All right. And you use he, him?
Well, I don't use it, but yeah, that's what I'm. That's what I am.
Okay, you don't use it. So is there?
Yeah.
Do you use different pronouns than he, him when you're online,
Yeah.
or?
I do not. Like if someone calls me a he, that's fine. That's what I am. I'm a male, but I don't.
Yeah, that would be using them.
Yeah, like I don't participate like in the pronoun thing. You get me?
No, not really.
No. Well,
Because
then
you're saying like,
yeah.
Oh, those are not my pronouns. It's just what
No,
I am
mean
referred
is,
to by, which
yeah,
is what.
I am. Yeah, you call me he, him. Let's just.
Okay.
Yeah, let's just stay like that.
Oh, sorry, I just got a message in Discord. So you are a Christian, a Pentecostal?
Yes, I am.
Why should I be a Christian?
I mean, why shouldn't we? Right?
I don't believe it's true.
You don't believe it's true? Why don't you believe it's true?
Don't have good reason to believe it's true. The Bible contradicts itself. It's full of atrocities, full of inaccuracies.
Just give me one then. What do you? You said it contradicts itself. So go ahead. Let's start with that.
Yeah. So when it talks about the unaliving of Judas.
Oh yeah, okay. So
you can't use words referring to the way in which he finalizes his existence. You got to talk around that very carefully for TikTok purposes, unfortunately. But in one version, it says it's at his own hand, and And he does so in a field that he purchases. Sorry, and he does so in a field that the priest purchased later. In another version, he purchases the field, and then his existence is finalized in that field. So is it the case that Judas bought the field that he unalived in, or the priest bought the field?
So yeah, what other besides that? I'll go back. I'll get back to that. But do you have any others as well, or
I mean,
that's it?
I have a lot more, but you asked for one, so do you just not like
Go.
that one, or?
Oh no, I don't like. No, I'll explain. So yeah, so there's multiple accounts about Judas unaliving. If you look at the book of Matthew, it says he returned the coins to Jesus. Most of the coins he returned back to the priest.
The priest, yeah. It
Yeah,
wasn't
so
most, it was all. He threw down the 30 pieces of silver.
I don't believe he did, because it doesn't say like he returned all of them. He just threw most of them. So what I think
It
happened,
doesn't say
if it,
most.
well, it doesn't say all either.
If it
That's
says
the
that he
thing.
threw down the money that he earned from his wickedness, why would he throw down only some of it? It
Because
doesn't even
that's
matter. It doesn't even
Yeah.
matter, because
So
the
that's
field
what.
was purchased after his life ends, so that does not matter.
So what I think happened is he used the money. Like if you look at the book of Acts, he bought the field. Or what it could have happened as well, like you said, the priest bought the field with the money that he used, and I'm sorry, the money that he didn't use, and then he unalived himself in the Jesus Christ in the field.
What? No, in one version, he unalives himself and then
Let
the
me
priests buy
search
the
it up.
field. In
Yeah,
another
hold on.
version, he buys the field and then unalives in it.
Let me reconcile that for you in a second. Let me just go get the book of Acts.
Do, do, do,
Are you there?
do. I'm here. You there? Hey, Arwen. Josie and I do not hear you anymore. Yeah, you disappeared. Well. I guess you're gonna have to try to call in again. You shouldn't have to do the whole screening thing again, just if it's you again. I've yet to hear like a convincing way to solve that contradiction. It's just people saying, well, if they bought it with the money that Judas once owned, then that must mean that it is actually Judas's. Not how that works. Well, Brenta, thank you for listening in. I am honored to be someone's background noise. You guys do not have to look at me. I promise. I'm not offended. If you put me face down somewhere. Also, we do have new emotes over on TikTok. We have the good joke emote, and we have a new Dewey emote. Looks like she's kind of going like, eh. So, it's the Dewey, like, ew. Oh yeah, we do also have the purple goat. It is tiny, though. So enjoy those. Enjoy the good joke. Enjoy the Dewey and the purple goat. Yet to be named. We'll get there eventually. Thanks, babe, for adding the a-hole one at the very end. Good joke. I just had to. I had to put in a good joke one, right? It's so versatile at this point. I like my little emotes. If you guys have any idea for more, you should put it in the Discord, because I do like making little emotes, and we have room for a lot more. That was such a great idea for a raid call. That was fun. Except now, like, they know that it's me when I send people in saying something strange. So I got to figure out how to keep them from knowing. Need a robot spin gif from that one live. I like a good spin. They do know immediately. They've learned my tricks. Welcome back, Josian.
Hey, I'm back. I didn't know I didn't quit. I was just
No
searching
worries.
up. Yeah, I was searching up, and then it just disconnected. And your assistant told me, like, if I try to, like, use the same device to try to search something up, then it,
Yeah,
you
it'll
know,
mess up. So what'd you find?
well, I couldn't find anything because I disconnected. But I have my other phone that I will use in a second, so that doesn't happen again. Is that cool?
Yeah.
All right. So can I ask you, while I find that, can I ask you a question? The main reason you left Christianity, was why?
Yeah, didn't believe it was real.
Didn't believe it was real? Did you think Jesus existed historically?
At this point, I'm kind of like so on that. I definitely used to think so. Him existing historically doesn't really matter to me because I definitively don't believe that he was divine.
Okay. You don't believe it was divine, but do you believe he was historical or not?
I'm kind of so. I don't think it really matters to my belief.
Well, I mean, it matters historically. Historically, it matters. So
I don't think he was divine, so what difference does it make in my life if there was a guy named Jesus or not?
well, because there's more historical record of him than any other person at the time. And for you to say, well, I don't think he was.
Not really true. We don't have any contemporary writings of the life of Jesus. Did your prompt finish loading?
Not yet. I'm gonna search it. But for you to say that Jesus wasn't like a historical figure, I think it's kind of ridiculous. Do you believe George Washington existed?
We have plenty of contemporary writings of George Washington.
And that proves his existence. If I write, if I just chat GPT something and say, just tell me a story about a fictional character, give me a name that looks real, date of birth, place, whatever, and whatever he did, and then I write it down in history, and then I conspire with, let's say, 5-10 more people that testify that my story is real. Does that make it real?
We have his fucking teeth, dude.
Okay, you have the okay.
We have letters that he wrote. We have
letters
paintings. We have portraits
there's...
done during his life. We have accounts from countless others that are primary sources dated to the life of George Washington. And he has like descendants that are still alive today. Plus, we've had evidence of him for a very, very long time. Obviously, it wasn't made up by ChatGPT.
No, I'm just saying. How do you know those are his teeth and not some other random dudes? And they just said, you know what? This is George Washington. How do you know?
It would go against the large body of evidence that we have.
I'm just saying. How do you know?
Yeah, it's
evidence is real.
It's interesting because I'm saying we have contemporary writings. We have writings he made about himself. We have paintings done of him during his lifetime. We have countless.
You're still not answering.
Josie, I need you to be quiet. We have all these countless pieces of evidence, and you're still like, well, I don't know. But with Jesus, you're like, no contemporary writings whatsoever. Nothing that he wrote about himself. No other actual historical proof that he existed. Well, he must be real. Checkmate, atheist.
Actually, you're missing the point. I believe George Washington was real because of the evidence presented. He was the first president of the United States. I'm asking you what makes you believe for any historical person that they're real? And why don't you question, like, do you think Aristotle was real?
Well, Aristotle wasn't claiming to be God.
Do you think he was real historically?
Maybe, but it doesn't matter. Like, in the grand scheme of things,
Buddha, Confucius.
Yeah, in the grand scheme of things, how does it affect my life if they're not actually real?
Because if they are real, at least you're grounded in reality that, oh, they did exist. And mind you, yes, there was a lot of historical evidence for Jesus. We had outside sources claiming about it, like Josephus. We had Marabar Serapion. Yes, we did. Yes, we do have historical records of Jesus existing.
Those are not contemporary records of Jesus.
What do you mean contemporary? My God, what year are we in? What year are we in right now? Can you answer that?
2026.
After who?
After who?
After who? Yeah, 2026. What is it?
Do you think Jesus was born in 0 CE?
No, I don't think Jesus was born in 0 CE, but no. But
then
what
it wouldn't be
year
after
are
who?
we in? What is it referring to? 2026.
So you're saying because the church as an institution had enough power and influence to come up with this system for our calendar, that must mean that Jesus was real?
No, because I'm telling you that even most people, even atheists like or agnostics like Neil deGrasse Tyson, I acknowledge this as like the best way, the best source to point out the date before and after Jesus, like instead of using common era. So,
but Jesus wasn't born in 0 CE, so that wouldn't work that way.
He was born maybe between 0 and 4 AD. That was his birthday.
AD is very antiquated.
Yeah. No, but that's just how it is. And how do I know Jesus was real? Well, the places that were mentioned during Jesus were all real. They were all real. They were talking about Israel, Judea. They were talking about Pontius Pilate, which was a real person. And they were talking about the Caesars that were at the time.
Quick question, Josian. In 3 days, what day of the week will it be?
In 3 days, what day of the week will it be?
Yeah.
Well, if you mean 3 days, 72 hours, it's going to be in my time zone, Thursday, 9:51 p.m.
Whose
if you
day?
mean Thursday.
Whose?
Thursday. THUR.
Yeah, and who's that named after? Named after who?
What do you mean?
Who is Thursday named after?
I am not sure. Not following of your question.
It's Thor. So if you acknowledge that there is a Thor's Day, then you must acknowledge that Thor is real.
Well, no, that's not how it works.
Wednesday exists, so does that mean Odin is real? Saturday exists, so Saturn is real?
Saturn, yeah, the planet Saturn is real.
No, the god Saturn.
Well, that's the thing. We were talking about.
They're both named after the god.
Human historical Jesus that walked on Earth.
So not a divine entity, so just a guy.
No, first we got to prove that he was real. The historical side of him.
You're claiming he's a divine entity, so it's just
you're
saying, because there was an institution that had enough power to declare, oh, we're going to use this as the start of our dating, we're going to claim this is when our Savior was born, that must mean that he's real.
No, this is my claim is that there were historians that wrote history as it was. Do you think all history is written down?
No, because there's a lot of history that hasn't happened yet. Did you ever finish typing your AI prompt?
Oh, no, not yet. No, I haven't. I'll get back to that. I'll
Well,
ask you.
you're pivoting to avoid talking about it, so I was just wondering if you ever like came up with an
Well,
answer.
it's not that I'm pivoting. It's that I haven't searched it yet because right now I'm driving, so it's gonna be a bit
Jesus
difficult. I got to
fucking
park.
Christ, dude. What the fuck? Don't call in if you're fucking driving. Hello? You called back that many times? Can't do that. And he was trying to look it up? Ugh. Don't do that. What are you gonna do?
So I did want to ask.
I can't even
just
read that. I'm scared to
please
expand
hold.
it. Oh, I'm shrinking you again now. You took too long. He was trying to meet the Lord very quickly. No! What does that say? Is it offensive or can I expand this? Is it making fun of me or is it offensive?
Here we go. Here we go.
Ah. It looks like I just fingered someone. I appreciate that.
Thank you. I did have a quick question regarding Judas Iscariot. My understanding is that he, despite living in an agrarian society, was more of he was a treasurer, right? He was a financial expert. And I just, is that correct that he was not in any way a farmer? Is that correct?
Sure.
To your knowledge? Okay. So it's fair to say that unlike a farmer, you would not say that he was outstanding in his field.
I was expecting more than that. You can do better than that. Come back when you have one that's outstanding. That you gotta have someone that's like worked in there. It can't just be a general pun. Boo. I boo at thee. I bite my thumb at thee. Well, get supervised, bitch! Yeah, for those who are not familiar, that is the tormentor of my mortal soul. I don't believe in a soul, Christians. It's just funny. Outstanding in his field is reference to the field he fell in. You give it a B-. B- is acceptable. Tormentor in a fun way or no? In a fun way, but don't tell him that. Kia Soul? Yeah, the tormentor of my Kia Soul. No, I drive a much cheaper car than that. The more a joke makes people cringe, the better it is. Maybe there's some truth to that, I don't know. Tormentor, I hardly know her. Damn it! That's a good one. I should have said that. So Earth is not 5,000 years old? No. If souls aren't real, then why do I have one in each shoe? Joke's on you. I cut them out of my shoes. I'm those people who do the fucking barefoot shoe thing. What's cheaper than Kia? Oh, a lot of things. I'm not going to say what type of car I drive, because I don't need y'all weirdos out there looking for me on the road. But my car is pretty much just a tin can on wheels. Don't I feel that I have a soul intuitively? Nope. Is it a tandem bike? Yep, I ride a tandem bike by myself on the highway. It's a bug, isn't it? No, I used to want to drive a bug when I was younger. I wanted, like, a bug so bad. Like, my dream was, like, a powder blue bug when I was, like, 13, 14. Not anymore. Not anymore. I used to have this beautiful, it was beautiful, but it was hideous, this, like, daisy yellow Hyundai. What was it? I think it was an Accent. It was this hatchback. I'm sure I can come up with a picture of it. Hold on. And I loved it, but it stopped working on me. But I miss it every damn day. Whoa, no, that's not what I wanted to do. I did not want to pull up the fucking Carvana. Hello? I just wanted to get the picture, my guy. Well, if you guys are looking to buy a Hyundai Accent. There we are. Beep beep. This is what I had. And I miss that car. I'm gonna just replace me with the car real quick. So this is what I drove. This is what I had when Joshua, Rat Soup, and I first got together. It gave out on me. But, like, look at this. Isn't it neat? I miss having a unique car. I have bumper stickers on mine now, but it's not as cool as this car. I called this car B because it's yellow like a bee. I'm not very original. But, like, can it fly like Jesus? Let's see. Yes. I make myself laugh too much. Too much. Should have played a bee buzzing noise. I'm sorry. I didn't have one queued up. Do I ever get recognized out in public? Not for this. Just, like, in general, because there are people I know in town. But not for this, no. Joshua and I are gonna go to this, like, atheist meetup thing in our area soon, so maybe we'll meet some people there. We'll see, though. I don't know. Did bee ever make me honey? No. Are femboys gay? Asking for a friend. Not if they keep their striped socks on. Have people ever mistaken me for Chapel Roan? Not genuinely, but I've gotten comparisons when my hair is, like, fluffed. I don't have as good of a hair routine as Chapel Roan. Which atheist meetup? Not gonna say, since that would, say where I live. Damn, I love I just saw the chat like, why does there have to be one single purpose, Andrew? I don't know what Andrew is saying, but... Hey, church shit! You heard it takes 10 years for Christians to deconstruct. Is that true? Depends on the person. Like, I can't... For some people, it takes a little bit of time. For some, it's a lot. What happens at an atheist meetup? Well, in this case, it's just dinner. And then, of course, like the ritualistic sacrifices of the innocent. Like, I assume that'll come later in the night. But it's only scheduled for a couple of hours, so we'll have to get through the apps really quickly. Deconstruction can be a lifelong journey. There are still aspects of, like, my religion that are impacting me to this day, and I'm trying to, like, identify those things to try to break some of the harmful patterns that I've seen in my life. Looks like we have a caller over on the Linktree. Hey, how's it going?
I'm good, yeah.
I'm doing all right. What's your name?
Azir.
Izir, all right. And Izir, you are a Christian. Is that
Yes.
correct? So
Yes.
why should I be a Christian?
I actually have like a question for you real quick. So do you like don't believe there's a God, or like believe there's a God in question of what religion to actually join?
I lack a belief in God.
All right. Can you explain like why?
Yeah, I don't think there is one. I just don't have any evidence that there is one.
I'm about to say I can. I gotta say this. Are you open to joining Christianity?
If it is true.
Okay. How good of a person do you think you are?
How good of a person? Are you about to, like, Ray comfort me? Is that what's about to happen?
I don't know what that is. I'm sorry.
He does this spiel where he's like, so have you ever lied? That means you're a liar. You ever stolen? That means you're a thief.
Well, I guess.
And that was a dead-on impression of his accent, by the way.
Well, that was good. I'm sorry. I'm a little trying to get my thoughts together.
No, it's all right. Just like I don't really know how the way that I perceive myself, how that affects the truth of Christianity.
Okay. Well, have you ever read the Bible, anything like that? You read the Bible?
Considerable amount, yes.
Considerable amount. You read the New Testament?
Yeah.
New Testament. Dang. I'm sorry. It's a lot of evidence. I'm just not very knowledgeable on the whole thing. But the main thing is, you probably believe in like the Big Bang, right? Like the Big Bang created everything in the universe, all that stuff, right?
That's not really what the Big Bang means or says.
What is the Big Bang?
Yeah, so it's just an expansion of our universe. It's how our universe went from being in a hot, dense state, to quote the Bare Naked Ladies, to expand into what we know today. So it doesn't mean that there is an absolute start to the universe. It is not a creation of the universe. It is simply a change in state of the universe. And prior to the Big Bang, all of our math for trying to determine the age of the universe starts to break down. But the majority of physicists believe that that doesn't necessarily mean that it's an absolute beginning.
But I'm sorry. Does that mean that it could have been the absolute beginning, or it's just not at all?
I don't think that there was an absolute beginning. I think the universe is eternal.
You think? But it had to have a start, right?
No, eternal would mean that it didn't have to have a start.
But I guess just a little, I don't know, confused on that.
Yeah, so if something has always existed, then there'd be no start to it.
I understand that part, but Hmm. If the universe has measured time, wouldn't that mean there's a measure? Like people, you said scientists try to measure the beginning of the universe, right? Or like the beginning of when Earth was there, right?
Well, our math breaks down when we try to figure out time prior to the Big Bang. But that
But
doesn't mean that that was the absolute beginning of time. It's just because our universe changed states, it existed in a different state than our math is able to account for.
but you said a majority of physicists say it had a state to begin with.
The majority say that the Big Bang doesn't necessarily describe an absolute beginning to the universe or time.
Did it describe any beginning at all?
It doesn't
You said
describe any beginning at all. I'm not sure what you mean by that.
You said an absolute.
It's not
beginning.
absolute beginning. It's a beginning to the current state of our universe.
All right. Well, either way, how would the universe decided just expand by itself?
It's not decided to. It would be natural forces.
Natural forces just, and what was natural forces again? I'm sorry.
All right, are you just asking me to like take you through the step by step of like the universe approaching into like condensing into this hot dense state, then rapidly expanding?
Yeah, I'm sorry. It just
Yeah, I don't understand how any of this is going to lead to Christianity specifically being true.
it has to be a beginning, is what I'm saying. It can't.
No,
Something can't just exist. Like you know how matter cannot be created nor
think-
destroyed.
right, which would mean that it must have always existed if it can't be created. And you're talking about
Or it
energy.
means it was created.
You just said it can't be created.
I'm sorry. Sorry. Let me elaborate. Created by something outside of time, matter, and existence.
Oh,
which
that
is
sounds like special pleading.
special pleading. I don't know what that is.
Yeah. Yeah, it's basically just when you're saying, oh, well, this thing applies in every situation except in this one particular situation, because then my argument doesn't make sense.
Oh, I guess. Like I said, I'm not that knowledgeable. I just want to share the gospel, and what I say, I can't really give you evidence, but there is some there. What, like you said, you read the Bible before, right? Is there any other things you looked at, like the manuscripts of Jesus Christ, the
Manuscripts
Dead Sea
of
Scrolls,
Jesus
stuff like
Christ.
this?
Dead Sea Scrolls don't talk about Jesus whatsoever.
They talk about a God, though.
It's Old Testament.
I know, but it talks about the same God, Yahweh.
Okay. So that wouldn't be manuscripts of Jesus Christ if you're talking about the Dead Sea Scrolls, though.
I'm talking about God in general. Like, have you read the manuscripts of Jesus Christ, or have you read the Dead Sea Scrolls, stuff like that? Do you like?
The Dead Sea Scrolls are just like Daniel and I think Isaiah. I'm not really sure.
But it talks about God, right? It talks about prophecies about messianic prophecies, I believe it's called.
Some of the ones that are interpreted as being prophecies are not actually prophecies. They're referring to events that were happening at that time, especially in Isaiah.
Like, what you mean?
Like there's one that people love to say, the riding in on a donkey. They'll say like, oh, that's a prophecy about Jesus, but that is written in a verb tense that indicates it has already happened or is happening. It was about Hezekiah, who was, I believe, already born at the time it was written. And people also forget that the other part of it had to do with like becoming king, which Jesus didn't become king in Israel. So none of this is really particularly persuasive.
But you've read, and you said you read the Bible before, right?
Yeah.
So when the Pharisees or Sadducees saw Jesus coming in to Jerusalem with the triumphant entry, you read about that?
Okay.
Was that not like actual prophecy being fulfilled?
No.
So why?
Because it wasn't a prophecy.
It wasn't a prophecy at all.
No.
So why did they stop him and tell him like why are you doing this? And say get these people to stop praising you, whatever. And he said, if they don't praise me, the stones will. If that wasn't prophecy, like
Your argument doesn't track.
if the Pharisees, like, I'm sorry. If the Pharisees, right? You know how the Pharisees stopped Jesus from trying to get into Jerusalem during the triumphant entry, right?
Because they thought he was fulfilling a prophecy?
Because he was fulfilling prophecy.
What verse is that?
I can pull it up. Give me 1 second.
Yeah. In the meantime, I was working on something that should be horrifying. Let's see if I can get this to work. So I got a Ray Comfort with the mouth cut out. Just to do a complete rip-off of a bit Joel did the other night. So let's see if I can line this up perfectly. So, you ever told a lie? You're a liar. You ever stolen? You're a thief. Ever held a banana? You're gay. So that's... Bit's over. Happy Pride. Was that Timu Chuck Norris? Yes. Sing us a song, you're a banana man. This shit is bananas. B-A-N-A-N-A-S.
All right. This is one of the accounts I found from Matthew about the triumphant entry. Sorry. Matthew 21. As Jesus and his disciples approached Jerusalem, they came to the town of Bethphage on the Mount of Olives. Jesus sent two of them on ahead. Going to the village over there, he said, as soon as you enter, you will see a donkey tied there with his coat beside it. Untie them and bring them to me. If anyone asks what you are doing, just say the Lord needs them. He will immediately let you take them.
This doesn't ever mention that him riding in on a donkey is seen as fulfilling a prophecy.
This took place to fulfill prophecies that said, tell the people of Jerusalem, look, your king is coming to you. He's humble, riding on a donkey, riding on a donkey's colt.
Yeah, so this makes a claim that it was a prophecy. It was not a prophecy. In the context of the story, you said that the Pharisees and Sadducees stopped Jesus because they said he was fulfilling a prophecy.
That's Matthew.
Also, this is a version where it very obviously shows that Jesus stole that donkey.
He didn't steal it. The person, gave it to him.
Well, no. It just says, go and take it. If anyone says anything to you, just tell them that the Lord needs them.
And in different accounts, it said the man gave it to him.
I don't remember there ever being a version where it said that they gave it to him. There's a version where someone asks, hey, what are you doing? And they say the Lord needs it, and they take it, but they don't get permission in any version.
All right. This is Mark 11. Same triumphant entry.
Okay.
And you just said they wasn't permitted. The two disciples left in the coat, standing in the street, tied outside the front door. As they were tied, some bystanders demanded, what are you doing untying that colt? They said that Jesus had told them to say. They said what Jesus had told them to say, and they were permitted to take it. Then they bought the colt.
Can you read verse 5?
Verse 5. Sorry.
Mark 11:5.
Yeah. As they were tied, some bystanders demanded, what are you doing untying that colt?
Bystanders, not the owners of the donkeys.
Okay. But why were they permitted to take it if it wasn't,
Well, it's not their property. But
they were
that's
just
not getting permit. The point of contention was whether or not they got permission from the owners. If I'm about to steal a bike off the sidewalk and there's some people who say, "Hey, what are you doing? Are you taking that bike?" And I say, "Oh, I need this bike. I'll bring it back." And then I take the bike and go. Did I get permission from the owner?
No, but you permitted to. I'm confused on the thing.
It's not up to bystanders to decide whether or not something can be used. If it's not their property, they don't get to determine whether or not it's stealing.
I guess.
You guess? So if I took that bike and I rode away on it, and then the bike owner came out and was like, "Hey, what the fuck? Where did my bike go?" And the bystanders went, "Oh, it's okay. We allowed robotgoat to take it. They needed it. They'll bring it back." Was it not theft?
Did the people tell them about Jesus taking it?
Doesn't say.
All right, it doesn't say.
But
so you don't know.
That would make it worse if no one told them about it. So best case scenario, the owner comes back. Best case scenario, owner comes back and says, "Hey, where's my donkey?" And the bystanders say, "Oh, we let someone take it." Worst case scenario, no one tells them. So the owner comes back and says, "Where the fuck is my donkey?" And the bystanders just like, "Eh." Like that's not the same thing. So your claim was that they didn't steal the donkey, that they'd gotten permission from the owner to use it. They did not get permission from the owner. They were allowed by bystanders to take it. That is not the same thing as getting permission from the owner.
I guess you're still permitted to take it on everything.
Yeah, but never by the people who actually owned it. They stole that donkey.
They stole the donkey. I have no issue to that, other than he was permitted to take it.
Well, not by the owners. If someone random permits you to take someone else's property, that's not the same thing. Oh, hey, Mezzo.
Okay. All right.
If Joel's not there to support you emotionally, Mezzo, I am here to be my half of the static duo. Go on.
Okay. And you also said it wasn't necessarily a prophecy. Like when I bring up the argument that it wasn't necessarily a prophecy, or was just like a verb or something?
It's about Hezekiah.
Hezekiah?
Yeah.
And what was Hezekiah around the same time during when Isaiah was there, or was how long ago?
Yeah.
Or how he was around when Isaiah was there? I did not know that. All right. Dang. Looks like I need to do more studying, especially to refute people. But other than that, I can't give you nothing. Not really.
Well, all right. I guess I'll have to remain an atheist for now. Let's just all hope I don't get hit by a bus tomorrow.
That's hope. Like, really. But I hope you do actually turn to Christ. Cause
you've given me no reason to.
Okay, that doesn't mean nobody else is. So, like I said, I hope you turn to Christ. I hope you have a blessed day, and I hope you turn from your sinful ways and start living a holy, righteous life. I really do. You laughing, but this is not a game. And if people treat it as such, when the day of judgment comes, they're gonna see that respectfully. And
respectfully,
like
right? Yeah, I'm gonna play a song real quick, so I'm gonna have you be a little bit quiet, because what you're saying kind of sounds like a.
I've been trying to be loving, but you're making me feel bad.
I can't.
You're challenging my fragile faith.
You don't need to.
I'm gonna threaten you because you made me mad. You're gonna get it when you die.
Like I said,
I'm done casting my pearls before you swine. You're gonna burn up in your pigsty. I was just trying to get that speck out of your eye. I can't wait until you die. You'll be watching me smile while I'm hearing you cry. So you better be fucking careful and follow my loving Christ.
right, bye, Azir. Mezzo, hopefully that helped with your Joel withdrawal as well. I'd hate for you to keep missing him. I did take one of his bits earlier. How we feel about this? You ever lusted after a woman in your heart? That makes you an adulterer. Yeah, it is horrifying. I love it. All right, it's gone. It's gone. Look at the banana in my hand. Alrighty, we've got some more callers. Hey there, how's it going? Let me make sure. Hold on. There you are. Is this Frank?
Yeah, it is.
Wonderful. Frank, you are Orthodox, is that correct?
I am.
Wonderful. So why should I be Christian?
So I want to preface by saying I am not a priest or any kind of clergy, so I may or may not be able to answer some questions you may or may not have. So I assume you're an atheist, is that correct?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. What is your primary reason for being atheist?
I lack a belief in God.
Yeah, but what is the motive or reason for that lack of belief?
I guess lack of evidence.
Okay, cool. So, like lack of empirical evidence, right?
Just
Yeah.
lack of good evidence, lack of sound evidence. It is
Okay.
my belief system, so there is
Mhm.
going to be some level of subjectivity to it about whether or not I choose to adopt a worldview. So
Yeah.
I've been presented with compelling evidence.
Yeah, and I'm asking, is a lack of, say, empirical evidence compelling? What do you consider not compelling? Sorry if I'm beating around the bush. I just want to get to know.
Yeah, like I don't consider anecdotal evidence compelling for one,
Mhm.
because
Mhm.
a lot of people have
Okay.
anecdotal evidence of different gods.
Mhm.
I don't consider any like God of the Gaps arguments to be very compelling when it's like, well, what else could have
Yeah.
done this?
Yeah. Okay.
So those are ones that I don't consider to be compelling.
Sure. Yeah, no, I agree with you actually. So, okay. Would you say there is non-empirical evidence?
Is there non-empirical evidence? I
Mhm.
mean, yeah, that would be like witness testimony.
Sure. Yeah, no, that's a good example actually. So when I mean non-empirical evidence, I mean, and this is happens in a lot of conversations I have with atheists in particular. They lack evidence of, say, a sort of measurement or observable, tangible physical element to God or whatever, like you would like in nature. So I think you and really everybody believes in things that do not have empirical evidence, right? For example, human rights. Would you believe human rights exist?
You gotta clarify what you mean by exist. Because I think something existing conceptually is going to be different
Mhm.
from it
Mhm.
existing in reality.
Mhm.
So I would say human rights exist conceptually, but there's no such thing as like a tangible human right.
Mhm. Yeah, so like even as a concept that like you and I can agree upon and the world can agree upon, it exists. It plays a real part in society, right? Like it may not be a tangible thing, but it exists. Another example is
Mm-hmm.
you cannot prove with a microscope or a any kind of tool that this is real, right? Your whole life could be a dream, the whole Matrix
No one can solve
kind of stuff.
solipsism.
Sorry?
No one can solve solipsism.
Yeah. So my point being that there are things that exist without requiring, or possibly even a lack thereof, of empirical evidence, right? So back to the human rights example, with a sort of morality direction with this conversation, the shortcoming I and many people have with atheism is, for example, if you say what is and what is not a human right, or what is and what is not wrong, you have no more ultimate, what would be the terminology? You have no ultimate power over someone else who says XYZ is not a human right, XYZ, you know, is good or bad. Atheism falls short of that.
Well, you would have to demonstrate to me that there is objective good and bad. I don't. If all we have, if all we have is, if all, if all, if all we have is subjective morality. Sorry, I couldn't tell if you were listening or not.
No, I'm listening and waiting for you to finish.
Oh, okay, great. Yeah, so all we have evidence of right now is subjective morality. So you would have to demonstrate to me that objective morality even exists.
Yeah, sure. So where I'm going with this is what's known as the transcendental argument.
Yeah, tag
You've
is
probably heard of.
Yeah.
Right. So I'm saying that the fact that knowledge exists, the fact that things like morality that we can understand exist in the first place, these things will never be empirically measured necessarily, right? Like you can't put under a microscope morals, or even like the meaning of words to specific people, time necessarily, not as a measurement. But the fact that these things exist, even if you say it's a concept, the fact they exist yet are beyond the capabilities of human observation would necessitate the existence of a god, I would argue.
That doesn't follow.
Why not?
It doesn't follow that these things existing necessitate God. That's the claim of your argument.
Right. But I'm saying that because they exist, a lot of atheists say there's a lack of evidence for things, right? And we can't know or confirm it exists without some sort of empirical measurement and or proof. Right. These things exist, even if it's a concept with our knowledge, right? They exist beyond human empiricism or physical observation. Does that make sense?
No.
Why not?
Because they only exist because we observe them.
You observe human rights?
Yeah.
How do you empirically observe human rights?
I didn't say empirically. We can observe things without it being empirical.
That's my point.
No, that's not your point.
Yeah, it is. I mean, respectfully, it is. We know these.
Your point is that because there are certain things that we cannot observe empirically, therefore there must be God.
It's beyond the naturalistic understanding of things.
Ah, you've been voted off the island. Bye, Frank. Andrew, I will count that. We got a super chat with a boot. I also missed a super chat earlier from Mr. Zeke79. We were going through all the different bukes. And Mr. Zeke79 said, almost bucolic. Bucolic. I see what you did there. So yeah, you guys can thank Andrew's channel, or Andrew's E channel, I'm not sure which it is. I choose to believe it's Andrew's channel, like a very fun way of like Andrew's channel with a Z, for that kick. Cause yeah, that was I won't do it anymore. I'm sorry. I'm out of water too, so I couldn't even drink water to like. But the after a single word was crazy. That was crazy. That's what good mac and cheese sounds like. Get a bigger shot glass. Fuck you! It's not a shot glass. Da, 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 da. Hey there, Honor.
Hello.
How's it going? I have that you are a Catholic. Is that correct?
Yes.
Wonderful. Well, do you call yourself a Christian still? Some Catholics do, some don't. I never know. I don't want to offend.
I do. I have not found that a very fun point that people make, but yeah.
I'm not sure what you mean by that. I'm just
Basically, I'm not a big fan of the Catholics aren't Christian thing, but anyways.
I'm not trying to make that point. I'm saying I've talked to some Catholics who don't call themselves Christian.
I know. I think it's stupid. I was just got some.
Gotcha. Well, why should I be a Christian, Honor?
Well, I was not I don't expect you really to convert, so I was more here to pick your brain because I was out of curiosity, because I found debate much more fruitful if you approach it like that. Yeah, a mutual understanding. I was curious on what do you make of miracles and miracle claims?
I haven't found any that are compelling.
Okay. Are you familiar with the idea of like David Hume on miracles?
Not super well acquainted. You want to elaborate?
It's one of the more popular, I think one would say, skeptical or secular takes on basically miracle claims being like a violation of natural law, and therefore they can't really occur due to natural law being a uniform experience, which is not, that take is not beyond critique, but that's the general.
Yeah, I definitely think that there's more to it than that, because then it'd just be very easy to say, well, God is beyond natural. So if it's something that is supernatural, it wouldn't be held to the constraints of science, whatever. I would want to see evidence that one has occurred. But the problem with miracles is if you affirm that miracles happen, then wouldn't you have to affirm miracles that happen in other religious belief systems? So if you affirm miracles within the Catholic Church, would you also have to affirm miracles that happen in like Islamic communities and Jewish communities? Like, how do you decide which miracles you think are and aren't valid?
Yeah, that's actually a somewhat decent point, which is why I had the book right in front of me. This is why I was kind of coming up, is because I was curious on what you make of it. There's I believe it's a multi-volume series. I've got volume 1, by Dr. Craig Keener on miracles, in which he the first bit is dedicated to arguing against the Humean understanding of miracles, and then goes on to present the historical evidence for his miracles throughout history. Not even Dr. Craig Keener is a Protestant Christian, if I recall correctly, but he presents it for a wide variety of religious what would you say, institutions. And generally the point of the book is more to argue that we have all of these miracle claims through in a variety of religions, and thus that it makes more sense to at least give them a more credibility, that they're not impossible per se, but they're a real possibility, because you have a lot of what you say, like naturalists who would say that the a miracle is always the least likely explanation.
Yeah, well, it's just, can you give me a reason to believe in miracles? You're talking a lot about the concept of miracles, but are there any, like, well-established miracles?
That was I was presenting that just to see, because you get a lot of arguing for miracles, and then you find out that that the standard for evidence or the philosophical view behind it is not very
Well, I would just argue that
well.
if there's ever any sort of possible natural explanation for something, it is more likely that compared to a supernatural explanation. So no matter how ridiculous it may sound, if it is a natural explanation, I would be inclined to believe that over a supernatural explanation.
Interesting. So could you explain that one to me, because I've always seen, like, for example, if you take like the resurrection, would it be more likely, for instance, that like I always try to make it sound outlandish because it's like theoretically possible, but like could you get like genetically modified unicorns to time travel from the future and steal Jesus's body or something? Like, it's theoretically possible under naturalism, but it's incredibly outlandish that it's almost ridiculous. So it's like, would that still be more likely than a supernatural bodily resurrection?
Yeah.
Could you elaborate on that? Because I never expected that.
Yeah, because it doesn't involve anything supernatural happening. We have constantly observed natural things happening. I have yet to be shown an example of something supernatural happening. So I would be inclined to take even what seems like a far-fetched natural explanation compared to any supernatural explanation.
Would that not sound somewhat like the human understanding that I was talking about earlier, in which we have that the natural law is uniformly experienced, and thus will always be more likely, or will always...
Well, it's more that I would have to be demonstrated that there is something supernatural. So that's not to say that, like, oh, because it violates the laws of nature, it's not possible. It's just I'm going to consider a natural explanation more likely until I'm given any evidence to believe in the supernatural.
What would be the standard for that? Like, because I mean, the multi-volume series is dedicated to presenting historical evidence, but I would anticipate that not many of those would be considered considered convincing to you in isolation, or like individually, and you would opt for the natural explanation if I were to present any one case. So what would be the evidence, or the standard for evidence, I mean, for that?
Here's the problem that you would face. There's a nearly infinite number of possible natural explanations for something. So you would have to rule out all of those possible natural explanations in order for it to be something supernatural. But because there is essentially an infinite, it might not be an actual infinity, but it would be near enough to infinity that would be impossible for you to demonstrate. You would have to you have to demonstrate how it is not any of the near infinite possible natural explanations.
Okay. Can you define rule out?
Rule out, show how it is logically impossible.
Okay, so your standard would be that that every natural explanation has to be logically impossible for a supernatural one to be the answer?
Yes.
Okay, and what is the justification goes back to that we have not observed a supernatural explanation?
Right.
And that, okay, at least from my perspective, I can't see why that is a how would you define it? Would one say a fair or worldview to take. Like it almost seems like it defines supernatural explanations into a near impossible or just straight up impossible, considering there's a potential infinite number of natural explanations, to be just
Well, that's kind of the problem, like with
incredibly unlikely.
tag. I was talking tag before, where they're like, well, God is the only possible explanation. Well, you'd have to get rid of a potentially infinite number of other explanations, so it's kind of hard to depend on that for an argument. So I understand that it's a difficult thing to argue against, but that's kind of the burden that you have if you're trying to prove that something supernatural exists. Because no matter how far-fetched, since we have observed only natural things, I have no reason to believe in a supernatural explanation.
I guess I would try to I'm more interested in trying to challenge the standard for evidence, because it almost I'm trying to be charitable.
I appreciate that.
But I think what I'm trying to get at is almost feels, at least from my understanding of it, circular to say that they're like hard to prove because they're near impossible, because they're near impossible. Like,
well, no, it's near impossible because you would have to rebut a nearly infinite number of other possibilities. That's what makes it difficult. Because there is this near infinite set of other possible natural explanations, you would have to demonstrate how all of those fail in order to fully convince me that it was something supernatural. Hey Mezzo, welcome up.
Hey, I can't hear him.
Okay.
You can't hear him?
No, is that an easy switch or is it a whole thing?
I don't know. It might be a whole thing.
Okay. Well,
can you hear Mezzo, Honor?
No.
No. Okay. Yeah, you can't hear each other.
Tell him I said he's a fucking piece of shit then.
Mezzo says that he thinks you're really neat and you guys should get coffee sometime.
He's a boring little
really
bitch.
Appreciate that. This was the first time that I've ever done like a call-up thing, so I was trying to be...
Sounds like he's doing a long insult back at me.
He's saying something very kind, Mezzo. He's being genuinely nice to you, all right?
I'll drop down because I don't want you to have to translate, and you're already sort of doing it. All I was going to say is maybe you can reiterate just this, is I don't even think you have to rule it out like entirely logically. It's like if you see a table floating and someone says, oh, that's just on a string. Well, you can go check for strings. Okay, it's not that. We ruled that out, right? Like, so like you just kind of go check. It doesn't have to be that you have to like find some P equals not P impossible
That's
contradiction
true.
thing. Just go look. And once you've ruled every single like possible natural that you can think of even, right? If you get to the point where it's like, I can't think of another possible thing it could be, then maybe we'll consider it.
Yeah. To kind of translate that over, Honor, Mezzo was saying it doesn't necessarily have to be that it is logically impossible if it can be like demonstrably false. The example he gave was if there's a floating table and someone says, oh, maybe it's being pulled by a string. Well, just check if it's being pulled by a string. And if not, well, then you've ruled that one out. I do see how a potential counter that, not to play Honor's advocate, but you could say, oh, well, unless it's like logically impossible, it could like there's still a chance that you just are misinterpreting the evidence that you're seeing, or what if it's something that you can't easily demonstrate to be false, but also there's plenty of explanations that you might not be able to think of, but that doesn't mean they don't exist. So just like to explain my argument through Honor's argument at Mezzo, who is arguing along with my argument, I would say that. We all good?
Yeah. I don't want to cut anybody off, but it makes it really awkward since I can't hear if he's talking or they. I'm not sure.
Mezzo's just so you know that he's listening actively.
I think has that just become an inside joke for the channel now? That's great.
It might be. Did you hear that shit?
I had the stream up because of
that was wild.
Long, yeah. So I think
All right. Well, I
to
think you're
try
both
and
wrong, Dan, and I'm
summarize
worried
my
about it.
point, because I think my
Mm-hmm.
issue, or the problem I'm trying to present, is mostly that I'm struggling to understand the um pointing or putting supernatural explanations below a natural one, just by their nature, instead of going for a more like inference to best explanation approach, if that makes any sense. Like, for example, it seems to make more sense given the surrounding context, for like the bodily resurrection to be performed by the divine rather than genetically modified unicorns or something. Like, just by the surrounding context, that makes more intuitive sense. It's a better explanation rather than something that is so incredibly outlandish but still natural.
Well, that's intuitive to you. That doesn't necessarily make it true. Since we do have evidence of like genetic modification, since time travel could theorize, I don't know if time travel is like naturally possible, so I don't know about that aspect. But if we want to say not time traveling, but it was just genetically modified unicorns that already existed during that time and they stole the body, yeah, that's more of a logical explanation to me than Jesus was a god who raised from the dead.
Okay, well, that's, yeah. I suppose that I'll side table or just rest that point, since I think that's just going to be an impasse of intuition. But what would you make of a cumulative case for the supernatural being at least a possibility to be considered, like in the Miracles by Dr. Craig Keener?
As far as a cumulative case, the problem is I don't find any of the individual evidence to be super compelling, so putting it together doesn't make it more compelling to me.
I guess I wouldn't share that intuition, because it wouldn't necessarily need to be that any one of them is like 100% likely or like confirmed, but for any one of sorry, I cannot speak. Wow. If only any one of them were to be true, that would at least make it such that supernatural explanations are at least a possibility to be considered above other like natural ones.
Yeah, we're just gonna get back on that whole cycle again, where to me every possible natural explanation is more likely than a supernatural, and it seems like that's a point where we're just not really.
Yeah, it's probably just a difference in intuition there, but yeah, I just wanted to mostly pick your brain on that because I was curious.
Yeah. Well, I think we've gotten to a good closing point here. I do have a couple more people who are in queue, so I am going to go ahead and drop you down, but thank you for coming up, Honor.
You have a great rest of your day.
Have a good one. I almost just ended the stream. That would have been... that would have sucked. Let's try that again. TikTok does this weird thing where after you reach 10K, they start showing you when people with like high follower counts interact with your content, because they want to be like, look, here's the important people that like what you're putting out. So it's very strange. I just get these random notifications like, so-and-so with 30K followers liked your post. It's very strange. It's like they're trying to promote transactional relationships between content creators. And I'm obviously small fry over here with my, 11.8? I guess we can check. Yeah. But I don't know why TikTok does that. All right. Next up, we have Jake. Jake, can you hear me?
Yes, I can.
All right, Jake. I have here that you are a Baptist. Is that correct?
That's right.
All right. Now, it does kind of sound like a foghorn is going off on your microphone. Can you fix that?
Hold on.
I didn't do it that time.
Some.
We're just going like before you talked.
Yeah.
Sounds kind of
Might
better
just
now.
be the bad.
Oh,
Yeah.
nope, did it again.
Might just be the. Okay. Hold on.
Do you maybe use like your phone vibrating or something? That's kind of what it sounds like.
I don't know. I use headphones. Let me try to take these out, and hopefully I can change the audio on it.
Okay. I'm gonna pin this out of context on TikTok because I just think that's funny.
All right. Can you hear me better now?
Yeah.
Yes or no? I can't hear you.
Yeah. Well, that's a problem.
Hold on. Audio issues. Always unavoidable. Why is it?
We'll get there. We'll get there. This is a good time to follow or subscribe if you haven't already.
All right. Can you hear me now?
Yeah, I can hear you, Jake. So, why
Okay.
should I be a Christian?
Well, I think here's the thing, and I watched this podcast, this stream for the past hour, and I think what has become clear to me is that the reality is that there's nothing that it can be done to convert you. I mean, I think about the story of Pharaoh in Exodus, where Moses constantly comes to the Pharaoh, and he says, "Let my people go," and the Pharaoh chooses not to let his people go, and
Does he?
flicks. No, not after 12 plagues, continuously, over and
Does
over
he
and
always
over again.
choose?
Hold on, let me finish my point. But after every time, God hardens his heart until he alone hardens his heart. Which means that at that point, there was nothing that could be done without the last plague of Egypt. So my goal, what I want to do, is I want to reach out for those in the audience, because the reality is that they right now might be going through struggles, and our goal as Christians is not to. Oh, let me.
No, you're not just gonna come up on my stream and preach. That's not how that works. People in here don't want to be witnessed to. The conversations I have with people are opt-in conversations. I can see that you're speaking. You are muted, so we can't hear you. Don't particularly want to be preached at. So maybe we can have a conversation about your beliefs, but I don't want you trying to proselytize to my audience.
What is the goal? You put up as your banner that let us try to convert you.
Yeah.
Right? You put it up there as that is the implication. But the reality is that if you will not let me evangelize to you or to the audience or anybody, then there's no conversion that can happen. I can do apologetics all day, but evangelism is how you convert.
No, empty evangelism is not going to be the way to convince
It's not
me
empty
or people
evangelism.
in
The
here.
power of the Holy Spirit
that
has
is
power
empty
in the world.
Evangelism, Jake.
It is not.
I have seen
druggies and murderers and all these people.
That's because religion preys on emotionally vulnerable people.
They praise. Their lives have significantly gotten better. They have been healed through the power of Jesus Christ and the Holy Spirit. But no, their lives have gotten worse because religion preys on them. It's not that it's an institution made by Christ himself to... Straw man. You know what a straw man is? To sit here and to put out here and do all these, X, Y, and Z. It doesn't line up with my personal.
It's not a straw man, actually. It's not what
the straw man is to sit here to empty evangelism instead of actually looking at the power that Jesus Christ has. And that's why I'm sitting here and want to appeal again to the people out there who are struggling in your audience.
You're not appealing to anyone right now. You are, in fact, probably disgusting more people than you're appealing to. You came in, you immediately got upset. It's interesting the example that you used. You compare me to Pharaoh when it specifically says that God claims, I'm going to harden Pharaoh's heart so he doesn't let you go multiple times. And then so he exerts his will over Pharaoh to change Pharaoh's heart to make Pharaoh not let the people go, just to inflict more suffering on the people of Egypt.
Just to inflict more suffering. It wasn't that Pharaoh was not going to let his people go to originally go anyway. And that's why he had to escalate the plagues of Egypt.
There's multiple times where God hardened Pharaoh's heart.
But again, I'm not going to get in...
I'm muting you because there are examples where specifically Pharaoh's like, sure, okay. Thank you for the Pharaoh mask, fuck. There's times where specifically it says that Pharaoh was gonna let them go, and then God hardened Pharaoh's heart so that he could demonstrate his power with the plagues. So yes, that is just intentionally bringing about more suffering on the people of Egypt when Pharaoh had already said he was going to let them go.
And then when he said he let them go, he chased them down with an army to the Red Sea. And of course, God parted the Red Sea to let his people go.
That's
which,
not the part
that's
of the story
that's
we're
suffering
talking
right
about.
there. Yes, it is the same story. It's Exodus. But again, that's not my point.
That's not the
I want to
part
appeal
of
to
the-
those
we're
in the
talking
audience
about
who are
God
suffering
hardening-
with depression and anxiety.
If you're suffering with depression and anxiety, seek help from a qualified professional. It may be that therapy is what's most helpful for you. It may be that medication is most helpful for you. It may be a combination of medication and therapy that's most helpful for you. What you shouldn't do is listen to evangelizers who are trying to utilize mental health to convert people to their religion while they're in a vulnerable position. So how about go speak to somebody qualified before you depend on the power of the Holy Spirit, because that gets people fucking killed, Jake.
Really, it does get people fucking killed. It's not like, they go and, commit suicide.
Yes, Jake, improperly handling mental health does get many people killed. The fact that many people are told that they can be healed by believing in Jesus does get people killed. The fact that some people are told that they shouldn't even have their mental health issues because they should have more faith and believe in God does in fact get people killed.
It does get people. So not the medication that completely destroys people's lives and personalities, and people who are,
That is not true. This idea that people's personalities were destroyed, that comes from an overprescribing of ADD or ADHD. At the time it was commonly referred to as ADD, now we say ADHD, of ADHD medication for those who didn't actually need it. So on too high of a dose of medication for ADD for those who don't actually have it, it can negatively impact your personality. But as diagnostic tools have improved, that is much less of a problem, and there are many, many people whose lives are made considerably better by medication, because mental health does have physiological aspects to it. It is so important to be kind to yourself and recognize that mental health issues deserve the exact same amount of care as physical ones. And this is actually a great segue. I did an interview with at Beard of Empathy on YouTube, where we talked about my mental health journey, and we talked about how I started taking medication for mental health. And for me, it was a lifesaver. So if you are interested in seeing that interview, it's over on YouTube under Beard of Empathy. Go check it out. It was a great conversation. Beard was an awesome host. So Jake, what bullshit were you saying?
Bullshit I was saying was, the fact is that I myself was oversubscribed with ADHD meds.
Okay,
and it was only after that I submitted to Jesus Christ and allowed him to help me, I was able to overcome the struggles that I had. So I'm here advocating for the power of the Holy Spirit because I saw it in my life. And so many people see it in their lives. And if you just let him work through you and allow him to help you, he will help you.
How deep is he going to work in me?
What do you mean? What? Is that some sort of joke you're trying to make?
Yes, it's a sex joke. I meant how deep in my vagina, Jake.
Because your mind is in filth. Your mind is in...
Yeah, it's obvious.
You try to tear down the sacred. You deconstruct the sacred. Whenever I actually try to let people and try to tell people the good news and try to give them an alternative to the society that we live in today, you sit there and want to tear it down, because that's all you do. You deconstruct things, but you don't.
Yeah, well, it's clear that now you're definitely in a very stable mental state. You're obviously calm, cool, and collected, and that is through the power of Jesus. So I guess if people want to be more like this guy, then you should take his advice and not seek medical attention, and should instead turn to Jesus to keep you calm, because it works so well for him. Can't you guys hear his Zen?
Zen, this Eastern mythology, that does, you know what people find Zen? It is in Jesus Christ. That's the reality.
I was using Zen as a colloquial term. I don't have any religious beliefs, so.
It's peace. peace and security that Jesus Christ is with you. That is what Zen is. It is the confidence in knowledge that Jesus Christ has died for you and he has risen for you, and he will drink the cups of wrath from God to protect you. That is what.
Risen indeed.
Yes, he is. No, you want to talk about speaking for things for yourself. Every time that I actually try to make an appeal, you sat there and want to, like, again, denigrate it down to your level, to the level of sin, to the level of
denigrate
debauchery.
me harder, Jake.
Again, that's my point. You have hardened your heart, and nothing I say will actually convince you. And that's why I'm here, is to help those in the audience who are struggling, and
you
to
are
tell
helping
them there
those
is
in
an
the
alternative.
Audience. You're considerably helping those in the audience because you are pushing them away from Christianity, and I appreciate that.
Okay. Not the fact that you have sat here and, again, denigrated and tried to make a joke out of something that has real power. Do you realize that you are going to hurt
chat
people
if you've also got a heart on.
Again, that's what it is. The atheist and those who want to drag you into sin and hell are going to try to make mockery of something that has real power. So you keep doing you, and we'll see where we are at the end of the day. But I want those. Me. Okay, but I hope that there are those in the audience. My partner will keep
doing me too. Premaritally, by the way, just to clarify.
Again, not talking to you. I'm talking to those in the audience, and I hope. And I want you to understand that if you go and submit and, go with repentance in your heart to God, he will save you. And he will make your life better, as he has made my life better and countless lives better. Countless. That's all I have to say. Praise God, and I hope that there's at least one person in this audience who attempts and gives it a chance, because Jesus Christ is always waiting for you.
We don't encourage people to attempt here, Jake. That's fucked up.
Well, you know what? I do, and that's my job, as Jesus commands me to do.
You guys heard it. Christians are gonna encourage you to attempt. I am not gonna encourage you to attempt.
Life-changing possibilities await if you give it a chance. Just take Jesus Christ.
Don't do that.
Take Jesus Christ by the hand.
No.
Again,
Jake,
keep making a mockery out of me.
Don't advocate for this. Don't attempt.
Again, keep making a mockery of it. The fact is that this has real power, and the real power to help people. And those in the audience who want help from their suffering, there is opportunity. There is a helping hand. His name is Jesus Christ, and he will save you and work through you via the Holy Spirit.
Is it the helping left hand or a helping right hand?
Again, I'm not going to engage with it. I hope that at least, again, one person in this audience, please, I beg of you, and I ask you from the bottom of my heart, please, because I want you to be saved. I want you to be in heaven and with Christ and with us. That is what God has promises. You just him and go.
He's still going. We got a super chat from Optimus Rhymes, who said, Jake, we know the Bible better than you. And I would venture that is true, in fact. I would venture that we do, in fact, know the Bible better than Jake here.
Well, no, you don't. No, you don't, because you don't know the actual power the Bible has to save people and to improve people's lives. Yes, if you knew the Bible, you would know that the Holy Spirit has the power to improve people's lives and work through them.
You guys know what's coming. Can you name the books of the New Testament?
Matthew, Luke, Mark,
this one.
John.
Yeah, out of order.
Well, okay. You told me to name the books of the Bible, all right? Give me the New Testament. You told me to name the books of the New Testament. Acts, Timothy 2, Corinthians, Revelations. Hold on. Again, you're trying to lure me into revealing the fact that, again, I am a recent convert and that I'm trying to genuinely
you claim
work
to know
my
the Bible
way
better
through
than
the
me,
Bible.
and just real quick, I love showing off this little party trick of mine. So Matthew, Mark, Luke, John, Acts, Romans, 1st and 2nd Corinthians, Galatians, Ephesians, Philippians, Colossians, 1st and 2nd Thessalonians, 1st and 2nd Timothy, Titus, Philemon, Hebrews, James, 1st and 2nd Peter, 1st, 2nd, 3rd John, Jude, and Revelation. So anyway, what was that?
You know who else
I
know?
better?
Okay, you know what? I know the Bible better because I know that there is a power in the Bible. And guess who quoted scripture? Satan did. The demons and those who wish to serve demons can quote scripture right back at you and try to lure you into hell by
So
it.
when you quote
All
scripture
right?
at
Don't
me,
fall for their
so when
tricks.
you quote scripture at me, that's just Satan
No,
working
because I'm
through
trying
you?
to save people, and there's a very big difference between you and me trying to save people and you trying to drag people down into hell.
I'm trying
Because
to
that's what you're
drag
doing.
people down to hell.
Yes, you are.
No, I'm
You-
trying
you-
to
you are
free
doing- you
people
are
from
doing
oppressive
demons'
religious
work, you're doing
systems.
Lucifer's work. You are doing, again.
You're acting
Yes, you
now
are.
like you want teachers' attention.
Okay.
Well, I'm the
Right, so
principle
why did you
of
try
this
to advance
eternal
that, I said?
attention.
You know, we're talking about eternal suffering and damnation and the actual power not only for your...
Yeah, the eternal suffering and damnation that your all-loving God gives to his own creation.
Because he is a just God who must...
Because he is just. So he is all-loving, but he's also all-just, and that's why he must have his own creation eternally tormented. That's a very, very all-loving, all-just thing to do, because it's very just to eternally punish someone for a finite number of sins. That is absolutely justice somehow.
To jail, and that...
You're still talking. It's very interesting how you have this, like, oh, he is all-loving, yet he'll torture everybody.
He is all loving because he's given us the path.
'Cause I'm the serpent, I'm the flame. The mortal world is scared to say my name. I am so spooky. I'm the shit.
The fact that you're childish.
I am the living aspect of the infinite.
Again, just show the difference here. You want to call me that I'm unstable. You want to denigrate me. But the reality is only one person here has continued to treat this topic of actual saving of souls and the improvement of lives with genuine unseriousness, and it is you. And that reveals more about that reveals more about you than it does me. Just listen. Listen as you sit here and mocks the idea of actually God helping you, of him working through you and improving your life and making you a better and happier person. She sits here and mocks it. But evidence is proven of herself.
Yeah, obviously this guy's much happier and better off with God in his life. Like, look how happy and stable and good he's doing. And he's, like, still going. He's talking right now. So the fun thing is, when I'm using this, like, video ninja call-in system, I can see when the guest is still talking despite being muted. So he's definitely still doing that. Yeah, it's just, this is the behavior of a very unstable person, Jake. So for you to come in and say, like, well, look, God cured me of my mental illness, obviously! Why can't you see? Why can't you take it seriously? Like, no one's gonna look at that and be like, oh, I want to be just like him.
For helping people and saving souls. That's what they'll see.
No, they will see someone who should have stayed on their medication.
I'm still on the medication.
Oh, good! Ask your doctor about upping your dose.
Okay. That's it. That's all I have. And I hope,
all right.
Again,
Bye. It's like the third time you've said that. So I'll do it for you. Wild. Yeah, he did say that he came off the medication earlier. But did he have more? Sorry for the Has-Been Hotel interlude. I'm not actually sorry. I'll be a little bit sorry if this gets copyright claimed on YouTube. Amazon Music, Vivian Madrano and Sam Haft, don't take this away from me. I'm only gonna make like 50 cents from this fucking YouTube video when it goes live. Don't do it. I got a copyright notice when I sang that cut Dear Evan Hansen song. So Has-Been Hotel jump scare? Yeah, bitches. I'm a Has-Been Hotel fan. I mean, I have my Hell of a Boss hoodie on the chair behind me. I have the IMP hoodie. It is rad as fuck. Oh, logo's on the other side. Like, look at this shit. That's rad as hell. Ah! I love this thing. So good. I'm a theater kid, of course. Of course. No one is surprised. No one is surprised I'm a theater kid. Like, fork found in kitchen, right? Victor, welcome back.
Hey, how's it going?
Magnetic, my friend.
Wow, good memory.
Sometimes.
Hey, good singing too.
Why, thank you.
Nice voice.
Oh, thanks. I got a super chat. Oh, I can't fully read that name. Okay, there it is. Oh, no wonder. From at not a space bat named Zarthulu 5569. Here, have $2 to make up for the lost 50 cents. Thank you. I guess I have to sing 3 more Has-Been Hotel songs now. Victor, welcome in.
Do you used to sing at church?
I used to. I was part of the praise band.
Cool.
And the traveling show choir that we had, despite being Baptists.
Oh, you were Baptist?
Yeah, we had a show choir.
Cool. You probably have some videos saved of that.
Not of mine. There is a video out there of my church doing one of the musical numbers, but like I'm not in it. So they did this. Hold on, because I do need to share this with the chat because it's insane. So they would do a skit to Total Eclipse of the Heart, and it would start with like this girl, and she'd be surrounded by all these people in like black t-shirts, and they would all have a different sin on it. Like one was like gambling, one was like vanity or something like that, one was lust, one was like drug addiction, and so they would start like facing away from her, and then on every turn around, one of them would turn around and like act out their sin. So they'd be like gambling, or they'd be like shooting up, and then when it gets to the choir like climax where it has like the turn around, then Jesus would come in and like knock all of them down. And then a guy dressed in a red t-shirt who represented the devil would come in, and they'd be trying to like beat up Jesus, and then Jesus did like the crucifixion pose, and they all just like fell backwards.
Yeah, my church used to do stuff like that.
Yeah, it's still out there somewhere. It is insane, and I used to be so jealous because like it was an honor to be picked to be one of the sins in that skit, and I never got one. They stopped doing it when I got old enough to do it, but yeah, Total Eclipse of the Heart.
Cool. Do you go to mission trips and stuff?
I did go on mission trips. I went to plenty of ones like in the country, and then I once did one out to the Dominican Republic as well, my senior year of high school. I regret going on those mission trips because I now see the harm that mission trips can cause, and it's something that I wasn't aware of at the time. And I also did not really understand how much of it was just poverty tourism, where it was just like, oh, look how much Jesus has blessed us compared to these people's lives. And also essentially holding people hostage, not like literally holding people hostage, but like, we'll give you this assistance if you let us preach to you. At the time, it's like, oh, this is a great way to get them to hear the good news. But looking back on it, it's like, we were forcing these people to listen to us evangelize to them in order for them to get something that they actually really needed. It's just... I look back on that time in my life, and I am embarrassed, I am ashamed, and I am very much against mission trips that try to evangelize to people instead of just being humanitarian aid.
Sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, it makes sense. I have a few questions. First of all, listen to the previous guy talking to you. Do you think all Christians are the same?
No, I definitely don't think, because Christians aren't monolithic. In fact, there's very little they agree upon, but they do share commonalities.
Meaning like personality-wise, like if you encounter a Christian that is like the guy before me, do you think like, when you compare him to all Christians, do you really believe we're all the same?
No, Okay. I think because I don't believe that Christianity is monolithic, there's a lot of different ways that people claim to be Christian, but the thing is they all think that they are the right way to be Christian, you know? Every denomination is like, well, ours is the real one, ours is the good one. Like, obviously, because why would you follow one that you don't believe in, right?
Yeah. Well, just like being agnostic versus atheist, you know, and in many other beliefs, people think they're right in their own thoughts and beliefs for the most part. Call it religion or whatever.
But, like, people like the last guy who just can't have a conversation because he is so busy trying to evangelize, that's difficult to have a conversation with, as you saw.
Yeah, he was very passionate, and
that's a nice word
his approach is different, I guess. I have a question about morals. I don't know where you stand on morals or where do you think they come from. Well, first of all, that's the first question. Where do you stand on morals?
Right now, I observe that there is subjective morality. I'm not yet 100% sold on there being any objective morality. That's something I'm still working through myself. But I don't think that there is, like, a being that we get morals from.
Okay. Yeah, morality is a really tricky thing just because it's kind of hard to figure out where it comes from. You know, there's so many factors and cultures and backgrounds and all of that. What do you think about people who wants to have sex with animals or have sex with animals?
Bad.
You think that's bad? Why?
Because it harms a sentient being.
What's a sentient being?
A sentient being.
Animal?
A being. Yeah, the animal would be a sentient being.
We are no animals.
We are.
So how is that bad?
Because you're harming a sentient being. Like, they're not capable of consenting to that behavior. So you're non-consensually engaging in sexual behavior with a sentient being.
I see.
Same reason, like, children can't consent to that. So I would say it's harmful to engage in that behavior with a child because they're incapable of consenting to it. Right.
Yeah, that's true. Do you have another question for you? No, I don't have any other questions. I know you're gonna hate when people assume things about you and what you think, or maybe you don't, but other people do online and stuff like that. I have a few things to say. One is I find it really fascinating, all of these atheist chats that I look at on TikTok and lives and all of that. It's like people can't stop talking about God, even when they're atheists. It's like people spend hours and hours reading the Bible and talking about God when a theory doesn't exist. And I just find it really cool. That's kind of a statement.
Well, mine is deliberately from a critical perspective, right? As a former Christian, I recognize the harm that religious beliefs, and in particular Christianity, can do to a person. And I also know how difficult and lonely and painful the deconstruction process can be. So I have my lives as a community for those who are going through that process of deconstruction, as well as to potentially help people escape from those harmful beliefs. And I've had some success stories. And I have a great community that I love hanging out with. Join the Discord.
Negative.
I mean, you don't have to, but someone in here should.
I do agree with you that Christianity harm you. I don't disagree with that. And last thing I'm gonna say, I'm convinced, like you guys said, you don't say anymore like I believe that there is no God or anything, but I'm convinced myself that you believe in God. I have no doubt that you believe in God.
I don't believe in God.
Yeah, that's okay. You can say that, but I have no doubt you do. And
well, I also talk for hours about, like, special interests that I have. So if I spend hours deconstructing like the characters in a musical. Like I taught like taking apart different characters in a musical. Does that mean that I believe those characters are real?
No, I don't. I'm not saying that I believe that. I'm convinced that you believe in God based on just you having this life about Christianity and stuff like that. That's not what it
My live
makes
where I
me think.
express how I don't believe in God and all the reasons why I don't believe in God and why other people shouldn't believe in God. That makes you think I believe in God?
Yeah.
You're gonna have to explain
I mean,
that
the
one
more
to
I
me.
listen, I don't know. Just I'm convinced that you believe in God. I feel like you just, and again, I'm gonna assume things, and oh, you don't hate it, but
Yeah, it's just
I'm
strange
thinking you
that
have a really bad experience with the whole religion thing, and
Not anything in
make you
particular.
come
I
to
mean,
that
there were
point.
shitty people in my church. Sure, there's shitty people everywhere. It's not church hurt. It's just it's a little obnoxious to pretend you know my beliefs better than I do. Because when I'm
Yeah,
telling you, hey, I don't
I
believe
knew it
in
was gonna
God,
bother you.
and for you to say, well, actually you do, you see how that's condescending, right? Because you're trying to explain my own belief to me as if you know me better than I know myself.
No, but that's what
you
happens in the other way around, though. To Christians who come and join your chat, it's all about proving how you're wrong, meaning Christians.
Well, sure, it's a
And
debate, but I'm not trying to tell them they don't believe in God. I'm trying to give them reasons why they shouldn't believe in God. But when a Christian comes in here, I don't say, you don't actually believe in God, you just think you do. That would be kind of super insulting.
yeah, but that's how it happens almost all the time. That's how
you don't really believe that.
many things. Okay. Hey, that's condescending.
Oh, is it?
Anyway, that's what I had for tonight.
All right. Well, you were funnier before. This one was kind of just a bummer, Victor.
Yeah, well, sorry.
Yeah. Next time, can you be less condescending when you come in? Like, trying to
Sure.
explain my own
I will
beliefs
try
to
to
me?
be more funny.
Like, 5% less condescension, 25% funnier.
I will work on that.
All right, thanks. Get those numbers up,
It's a
Victor.
Monday. Yeah.
It is a
Bye.
Monday. See you on Thursday. As a little callback to earlier in the stream. Well, folks, it is approaching 11:30 here. We're approaching 3 hours, so I think I'm going to go ahead and wrap it up for tonight. Now, if you are not yet following or subscribed, do that. You should also join the Discord. It's in the link tree, which is in my bio on TikTok and the description in my bio over on YouTube. So come hang out in the Discord. Someone just posted fan art of the goat in there, and it's so beautiful. So would love to have you guys there. If you're interested in being a call screener, check out the interest form in the link tree. Because if you do call screening like my buddy Crovis, who is screening for me tonight, you have a chance to win a raffle where I'll make you something with my own little grubby fingers. I'll sneeze on everything I make before I send it off, Gracie. That's not true. And Arwen, if you're still here. Also not true. I'm not going to sneeze on him. So, let's see. Who is on? I want to send you guys somewhere. But where? Is Dalton back on? Well, it seems only fair. Dalton raided me earlier, so I guess we've got to go back over to Dalton. So, I'll see you bitches there. Have a good night, everybody. TikTok, as always, you're first to go. And YouTube, thank you. Make sure to like and subscribe and comment and ding that bell and